no, he's back. He's going to ruin everything again. He's been ruining it for years and you're a fan. Why do you think him coming back is going to suddenly make it worse?
No.
It's good for us. He's done it for us.
More stuff.
Me and BCC back. Hello and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative, and as ever I am joined to my left by Here Comes the Money. It's Jack Jan.
Hello.
And it's Sam O'Mac to my right, Sam Chan.
Hello.
I struggled to come up with another nickname related to Shane McMahon, as you can see.
Yeah.
But
sweaty man.
And I'm your host, Ben Chance, and if that doesn't give you an idea of what we're reviewing today, it's not Shane McMahon, but I can assure you he will appear today. It is Royal Rumble season, and we are going back in our time machine 1 year to check out last year's Royal Rumble offering. Before we get to that, anything been going on in the world of wrestling yesterday or the last few days or anything you want to chat about, you know?
No. Been an uneventful year.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear anything about the McMahons anymore, do you?
Yeah,
or anything else.
Been kept quiet ever recently.
I love that. I'm gonna force my way back in, and I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah, I'm coming back to sell it. So fucking.
He's an absolute madman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolute.
If I can't run it, no one can. I'm gonna kill it.
He is an absolute barn pot. I love it. I love everyone having a meltdown because, oh no, he's back. He's going to ruin everything again. He's been ruining it for years and you're a fan. Why do you think him coming back is going to suddenly make it worse?
No.
It's good for us. He's done it for us.
More stuff.
Me and BCC back. Oh, I hope he does that. That's a bit of publicity, that'd be. But Jack, have you enjoyed checking out Royal Rumble 2022 and reminding yourself of it?
Bits.
Yeah.
Yes. Then other bits now.
Yeah. Other bits, the non-Rumble related bits.
Non-Rumble bits, mostly okay.
Yeah.
Rumble bits, maybe,
Maybe not. Have you discovered a least favourite number in the...
Well, considering what Jack said, and then I looked at both Rumbles and I went, oh, okay. I now know what he means.
Yeah, I think
I realised the other Rumble. How are you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that bad, but one of them. When you said, well, because you said it, I'd already watched both of them, and I thought, what's he on about? But then I checked out the other Royal Rumble.
Particularly one Rumble.
Yeah,
I know which one it is.
Yes. Yeah. But yes, it's Royal Rumble season, and I thought I would throw with a little bizarre. Did you just say bizarre?
Bizarre.
Oh. I thought you was on about Bulldog's bizarre bit. He's gonna win.
He's bizarre.
I thought I'd throw out a random Royal Rumble question. So first, Jack, Royal Rumble's quite known for its iconic posters. What would you say is your favourite Royal Rumble poster?
Well, the one where I'm all walking, but I don't know which year is it. 90s.
They did 3.
91 then, probably, because it was the first time they did it.
No, so you go for that. What about Austin with nails in head? That was a good poster.
What about the one where he's kicking the sign in 1990?
Yeah. Or when Yoko's falling through a TV screen in 1990.
There's a lot though. There's got Doink there as well.
That one where them all in a line and you got like 3 Evan Bournes.
Oh, in 2010.
Which is what you want.
No, you're not. Number 3.
Was Hail Caesar a Royal Rumble person?
Yeah, with the big fans.
Vince is back again.
Vince is back. I'm back.
And Sam, guilty pleasure Royal Rumble? So I don't want to be hearing anything that says 1992 or 2001.
Guilty pleasure one.
Is it this one?
This is one that you forget about it, and while you're watching it, it just sort of leaves your head.
Yeah, it's not pleasurable.
No, it's just, what's this?
But 94. You do feel guilty. 94, which we have done. You can check in our archives. Yes,
I like that one for some reason. I like the old show.
Is it Tenru and Kabuki? Is that what it is?
Oh, I love me some Kabuki. The podgy fat man.
So there you have it, folks.
Distinct lack of bugger.
Head over to our archives to check out Sam's guilty pleasure, which was Royal Rumble 1994. But we are going to be heading back 1 year. In the UK, number 1 was Disney Channel 1 year ago. We don't talk about Frank Bruno.
We don't talk about Frank Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. Oh, you probably haven't heard it. Listen, it's playing now.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah. No. Oh, Sam, you haven't got a soul. The weirdest one, though, bear in mind this is the 29th of January. What do you think was the US number 1?
It's going to be a Christmas song.
Yeah. Was it the Mariah Carey ball?
Yeah. Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
It's really picked up for
madness. How can you keep that at number 1 for a month?
The Yanks.
Madness. Box office was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Good film. Yeah. What's that? Yeah.
You haven't, I assume? It's got the 3 Spider-Man.
Oh, I was going to say, is that one? Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah, very good.
Played it?
Yeah.
That was released.
Well, that completed the main story.
I have every Pokemon.
That's what you got to do.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
You got to get a muck.
One.
It was released.
Have you got to get a colourful muck?
That ain't on that one.
Colourful muck.
Yeah.
Is that a different game?
Yeah.
And, the sport. No, this was a monumental day for West Bromwich Albion.
Is this when we lost to Millwall?
It was indeed. We lost 2-0 to Millwall and we sacked our manager. I think it was the same day.
Yeah, all the day.
Yeah,
we lobbed the chair. Lobbed the chair.
We threw a chair. We imploded. Ain't no sunshine. Whilst Liverpool continued their dominance, I think you only dropped like 7 or 8 points.
Yeah, we don't drop many last season.
And you
What a time to figure that.
You beat Crystal Palace 3.
Hooray! We beat Palace.
So at least one of us was happy. But Sam Jack probably owned Pokemon Legends Arceus, so rough with the smooth.
Yeah, exactly.
You lose Valerian Ishmael, you can capture a colourful ball.
Beat Millwall Pokemon. I'll go with Pokemon.
So yes, we are heading back then 1 year to Royal Rumble 2022, and we should note, I think, this early that the person who was in charge of booking the Royal Rumble match was one Shane McMahon. More on that later on in the night. Royal Rumble gets a nice history-style package showing the depth of the history of the event. I'm not sure about the segue into balling, though. Balling! But it does build the Roman and Rollins match. No Usos in the match. How come the Usos weren't there? Were they injured? Because I'd have expected them to be in the Rumble, but then Shane McMahon was booking, so maybe not.
I think one of them might have had an injury.
Oh, okay.
They hadn't joined with him yet, have they?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
there was.
Because that
was it just James?
Because he turned on Paul. Pow! He turned on Paul already.
I can't feel my leg.
Obviously, that all happens here.
No.
But they were with him at this point.
Oh, okay.
It also builds a heel Becky Lynch's defence against
Heel.
Doudrop.
And both heel.
Oh dear.
No sense.
The big mixed tag match, which is Edge
I forgot this
and
happened.
wife versus Miz and wife.
Yes.
Bobby
Mr. and
versus
Mrs.
Brock.
Mr. and Mrs. Grit.
Yes, so they call them the Grit couple. Yeah,
Grit.
Terrible name.
Fuck off.
And is this the first time Bobby and Brock fought?
I think it was, yeah. The dream.
The fought again at the end of the year in Saudi Arabia, but this was the first one-on-one match-up.
I'm not quite sure whether I like the package or not with the sort of narration style, which is a bit more
It was okay.
film style. But yeah, it was all right. One thing I do like, though, is Pat McAfee is on commentary with Michael
Hello,
Cole.
Pat.
And God, he is the Don West of WWE, that's all I'm saying. Because the hype job that he does, I mean, it's amazing. He just gets you like you really care. Even if
He's one of the better commentators I've had for ages.
Michael Cole heads up that, as Roman Reigns is coming out, that only now Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan, and Pedro Morales have held the title longer than Roman Reigns. Is that still the case, or is he beaten Hogan now?
I think he's beat Hogan. No, he ain't beat Hogan. Hogan held it for 4 years.
Hogan held
4 years.
He's only held. No one's going to beat Hogan and all that.
Pedro must have been about 50 years, because back in the day, they just held it for
Pedro
years.
was only like
Pedro
a year and a half.
Oh, it's Pedro.
I think he's beat Pedro. I think.
Oh, so
he's the unattainable Hogan Bruno.
Yeah,
Bruno held it for about 3 decades.
In his 2 reigns, one reign was 8 years.
We don't talk about Bruno.
I wonder what he was doing.
We don't talk about Hogan.
No.
Or do we? Was he in the good graces at this point? Is he okay?
Well, I just mentioned him, probably.
He should have been a surprise. He could still be a surprise at this year's.
He's definitely in the good graces. Oh no, he ain't at Mania, is he? He was at Mania the year before.
Yeah, but that might be why he ain't in the good graces, because of how bad he was at that Mania.
I think that's the last time he's appeared on telly.
Yeah.
That pirate Hogan.
That's how he ends his career. The pirate.
A new gimmick.
The Mind Games, as Seth Rollins heads out to the Shields theme, dressed in his old gear, doing the Joker-style dance down the steps. I mean, stylisation. This version of Seth Rollins is amazing.
It is brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. And we get the big championship call, and Seth just smirks at Roman as we get into the match. Seth suckers in Roman and hits a sling blade early on. He follows it up with a pair of suicide dives. He gets a big uppercut for being cocky on a springboard nothing. There's a big drive-by, and the champion now is in control. That is until he tries a Superman punch and is caught and Shield powerbombed through the announce desk outside. I do like how they just immediately tell you we've got to keep Roman strong, because the only way to beat him is by hitting these power moves. Seth rolls the champion, who's in trouble, but he has to kick out to 2 on a frog splash. Rollins then blocks a spear and hits his buckle bomb and follows it up with a stomp. I mean, what happened to Michael Cole over the last couple of years? Because there's a lot of times on this podcast where we really hate Michael Cole's commentary, but he's suddenly become a really good commentator.
With Pat, I think, and he said it himself that Pat reinvigorated him a little bit.
You can tell he cares.
Then later on, when
he did that,
person is in his ear
going,
Cole, say it!
Yeah, I think we'll be looking back at this time fondly in a few years when Vince is back. The great Gazoo's back in your ear. Roman just barely survives the stomp. Roman clotheslines Rollins to the outside on the next stomp attempt. There's aggression now as Roman just starts pounding at Rollins. I do like this because for a year he's been really protected, and all of a sudden the emotion that he's feeling, he's like, he is the Joker that's got in Batman's ear, and it's a huge powerbomb for a 2. Again, it's just constantly showing anger, asking Rollins, basically talking smack to him about what he did and how he broke up the Shield, and Seth's just laughing at him. He suckers Roman into a sort of triangle-style submission, and Roman powers out of it. Seth is sent into the steps and then is hit with a Superman punch, but he kicks out at 2. Does he beat anyone with a Superman punch first time anymore?
Well, I don't think he's ever beat anyone with it.
It's like Flair's figure 4.
Superman.
Yeah. There's a massive spear on the outside. Reigns hypes up the crowd and presses L2 to do his taunt, but he runs straight into a pedigree from Rollins, which is beautifully timed and gets him a 2. Seth and Roman now have a 50-50 brawl, ending with a second spear from Reigns. The Joker laughs away at Reigns and offers him his fist, tells him he'll always love him. So the guillotine lock is put on, but Seth's arm is dropped onto the bottom rope. Roman refuses to break it. The match is called in Seth Rollins' favour. Roman Reigns continues to hold it after the belt and then shows emotion, grabs a chair, and nice throwback, I suppose. You see him hitting in the back and sort of do the fall. Just beats the living piss out of him for about a minute and a half and leaves. Thoughts on the match?
Very good. I enjoyed it. Seth, character-wise, is brilliant. The story's brilliant. The first sort of chinks in the armour of Roman Reigns, especially now that he's alone as well.
Yeah.
It gives him a bit of vulnerability. And I like the fact that they didn't have him beat Seth clean, even though they haven't revisited it yet. It is something that you can revisit in the future.
Yeah.
You never beat him.
Yeah.
I don't think he has ever actually.
That's what I mean. You can revisit this story of.
I think that's
You've
where
never beat. And I'm the only one who's ever got in your head.
That might be the way to get the belt off him.
Well, yeah, that's what I think. But I mean, the match is good. The story is good. It's as good a match as you're going to see for story-wise, I think.
Yeah, it's one of the better best world Universal title matches.
Take right. Universal World Heavyweight.
Universal World Heavyweight body, but there was two at this point. But it's really good match, and I'm glad it started the show. Looking at the rest of the card,
Yeah, definitely.
it's the right one to start it.
If it was the bloody Doudrop match, that would have been the death nail. I mean, the one I think is that if you're going to... I don't like dusty finishes, but this is how you do a dusty finish. Because it advances the story, it actually strengthens both the characters, and also gives Roman Reigns a bit of a weakness, which, when you've been booking him the way you have, you've got to do it. Plus, the fans absolutely fucking hated it, which is the right way to get heel heat on Roman. Got a weakness, the emotion that Seth brought out of him. You know, Seth won the match, not the title, gives you the out and the instant story in the future. Storytelling was brilliant. Match was really solid. I think it's one of the best story-driven matches we've ever seen on the podcast. Yeah. It ain't really competing with it, though.
No, I mean, we am watching the shit.
You know, I mean, obviously you've got the Brutus portrayal of Hogan.
Hogan versus Sting and Hogan Brutus. And Hogan
That's what should have happened. Brutus should have been laughing at Hogan and he kept dropping the leg repeatedly.
Oh no, we hadn't been down yet.
Yeah. We do now say goodbye to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee for about 3 hours. As
you're the SmackDown match, aren't you?
Jimmy Smith, Brian Saxon, and Corey Graves take over.
Who the hell's Jimmy Smith?
He was the commentator. He was the commentator.
Uh-huh.
He was the one they got from, was it UFC? Or Bellator or something like that?
He ain't doing it now, is it?
No, they got rid of him, no, they. Who's doing Raw now?
The Irish bloke, Patrick.
The one from NXT.
He's alright, though. Yeah,
he's alright.
Yeah, he's from NXT UK.
Oh, I thought he was.
He's okay.
Is he from USC?
No, he's just some random bloke. He did backstage interviews all last year, and now he does come.
Do you prefer Jimmy Smith?
I think Jimmy Smith is more cohesive and knows how to talk about I know they're combat, sort of a combat sport.
Got to be presented in the
You know, he's trying and he's completely new to it, and he's better than you would expect.
Was that a Triple H call to get rid of him then?
I think it was just that his contract ended and they went to two-man booths there.
He'll be back then. Now that Vince is in charge. Vince might be back on commentary soon.
Vince and Cole.
Might do an AEW.
Cole's worst nightmare.
Vince might do an AEW and put Mike Tyson on.
Have an 8-man booth. So they take over at the broken table. Our next match is our first Royal Rumble match. It's the 30-winning Royal Rumble match. And out first is Mercedes Moné, or Sasha Banks, as we
Sasha
know.
Banks.
She's dressed as Sailor Moon, as she gets a pop. Is she a babyface at this point?
Yes.
Hey! No one knows. That's all she ever does is heel stuff.
Yeah.
Even when she's a face.
Well, none more true than number 2 being the returning Melina, which I think is a sensible time for her to come in because it's all about the entrance in it.
She is injured as well.
Oh, is she? Is
I
that
think
why?
she got injured in the build-up to the match. which is why she's out pretty quickly, as we find out now.
But I don't think it really matters.
No.
But yes, she does a split entrance, and Sasha shows her a bit of respect before they get into sort of pose off. Banks hits her in the kick, lifts her up, and dumps her out, and then sort of heals it up immediately with the crowd. Like,
I'll do your taunt.
Yeah, I'll do your taunt. And outside, Melina just keeps doing splits for some reason, but okay. Number 3 is Tamina. Sasha hits double knees on the apron to attack Tamina on the outside, followed by a pair of knees in the corner inside. Number 4 is a returning Kelly. Surprise. How many surprises are in this match? I know.
No, they though, because they already announced them all.
But don't you think
announced them all on Raw?
Is this just a sort of? Do you think that this is just a bit of a one-off Royal Rumble where there's just shit ton of filler?
No, that was the first one in 2018, the women's one.
Because
I don't know whether there is a few injuries on this roster, and I don't think they wanted to put a lot of NXT people in these.
I think you should though. Well, I'll get to it on my rebooking
So
later.
they're trying to keep them separate more at this point.
I just think when you get people like Kelly and stuff, and that could have been one. That could have been one in a year when you have 3 or 4, but now you've had like 15. If Kelly appears this year, it just ain't special anymore.
The fact that they have, and a few of these have appeared in 2 or 3 now, that it does lose its luster a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. She gets a shit in on Tamina, but he's clotheslined down, shows her arse a bit, stupidly locks in her head scissors tarantula spot, and is dumped out. I think it's by Sasha again, isn't it?
Yeah, Sasha Banks.
Proper heel. Aaliyah is out next. The commentary team.
What is your gimmick?
Yeah, the top commentary team fill me and Sam in who she is.
I know Aaliyah is. There's the one that couldn't come up with a gimmick.
Yeah. What's she doing now, yeah?
She's injured at the moment. She has been tag champ.
Yeah,
I know she.
Hill. And she at this point
the
she
world
was doing,
records thing.
I was doing the feud with Natalia, which was the Guinness World Record thing where I beat her in the quickest time.
Because Natalia was on about she held certain records.
Don't know what they am though, but she held 4 world records.
Well, basically, the recent success put over. She kicks Tamina, and that's all that happens. Number 6 is Liv Morgan. She almost eliminates Sasha Banks, and Jimmy Smith does a good job of putting over Morgan's poor performances in the last few Rumbles, which is...
Yeah, I think she has had the shortest.
Yeah, I think this is almost a bit of a redemption arc, isn't it, for her, really? I think she's got to be one of the longer ones in the Rumble by the looks of things. Except for Mrs. Taker, maybe. Banks hits a trio of suplexes on Aaliyah. The Queen, Zelina, is out next, the Queen of the Ring. She doesn't fare too well, though. Is immediately in trouble. But, to her credit, because I put that, that made her look pretty weak, and then she immediately eliminates Sasha Banks from the apron. Fair enough.
That was a bit of a surprise.
Did that sort of play off into the tag team feud then?
Not really, because at this point, they're doing... which happens later.
Yeah.
In the match. The feud that should have happened at WrestleMania, but they randomly did it on a SmackDown that they'd built for months.
You mean the main?
Yeah. And they randomly just got put as a team and won the belts at WrestleMania. So they ain't feuding. I don't know what's Sasha doing at this point.
I think there was initially pegged to win it.
Well, yeah.
There was rumour it was the one that was going to have win the Rumble and fight Charlotte, but then they got Ronda Rousey. Spoiler.
Well, I don't know why they've eliminated her so quickly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't mind that because he did actually pop the crowd. It's just so disappointing, really, that it didn't just spill into Sasha Banks now feuding with the tag champs and trying to find herself a partner. But she should have steered away from Naomi because the real heat in the whole match is that feud, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bianca Belair is out next, and she is definitely more over than Sasha Banks. Tell her that now, whether she likes it or not. She can have a cry on the floor if she wants to.
I have 6 months off now.
Yeah.
Bash.
She crushes Tamina's heads on the steel post. She's the strongest suplex, and Morgan immediately... Pierce Morgan. Liv Morgan survives barely in the corner. Dana Brooke is out with Reggie. I forgot this thing was a thing. Dana Brooke shows us...
What's his name now, Reggie?
Scripts.
What's he doing now?
He's in NXT. He's got a mask. He was sending voicemails to NXT to play.
Okay.
And sort of hacking the screens and that. And now he's got a weird oversized mask.
Is it Retribution?
Nicky Mangiro's jacket.
Oh, God. It's like Repo Man all over again. But Dana Brooke, I mean, what I will say about Dana Brooke is she's fucking strong. She shows off her strength going toe-to-toe with Tamina. The crowd just don't give a shit about her, though, do they, at all? I feel bad for her because I think she can work, but it's like a crowd killer for whatever reason.
24/7 champ here at the moment.
In this time.
Yeah.
And that's what it's dead, yeah. No one cares about that. Next out is Mrs. Undertaker, Michelle McCool. She almost eliminates Dana Brooke, but Reggie is there to catch her. There's a Stars Clash from McCool. Did she have a certain name for that?
Faith Break.
Faith Break. I thought
that was what Taker and AJ's feud was about.
Yeah. Is that right?
My missus has got a better move than you.
He actually says it in the promo, don't he?
You nicked my missus in move, you bastard.
Fabulous.
Retired.
Even though he didn't know, because we saw it in 2000 on WCW.
The Lion Taker.
Team Styles. All the way. Annalia catches Dana Brooks dive with a big boot, and Dana is eliminated, because obviously Michelle McCool must get an elimination.
She needs the rub. I
Sonya
think who else
Deville
got the most consecutive eliminations in all of the women's rumbles? Because in the first one, I think they're eliminated off the field.
Sonya Deville, who's definitely you got one of the most fleshed out characters, is out next. So Saxton doesn't agree with her being in the match as she's an official, but she doesn't bother entering it anyway and heads over to the commentary. Sonya reminds Byron that she has a jacket on, and when her has a jacket on, she's an official. Which I love that gimmick. That's an amazing gimmick.
Went back out.
Number 12.
It was half on, half off.
That's true.
I fight to this side, not this side.
Natalia is out number 12 with a new face, and what happened to Natalia?
I don't know.
Someone needs to tell me.
I think needs to do that.
She doesn't get much offense, so we settle down quickly. She does get an elimination though on Tamina, but Bianca, who is almost follows out, manages to hang on. Cameron, who is a former Funkette.
Funkette. I think they was the ones that were...
Oh yeah, that's much more sensible.
Well, he was the dancing dinosaur.
I thought he was the Funkadactyl, to be honest.
No,
he was
Funkadactyl.
He's Funkasaurus. Christosaurus. Trumpdactyl.
We don't fly.
There was Funkettes though. There was the ones who danced with Flash Funk.
Flash Funk, yeah, that's what I think.
I want one of them. Could I have a Funkette in the match? Number 15, Funkette.
They might, though, at some point, they might have to return them.
It's a
burning the
random Funkette. It's a Terry Funk group.
Now, this is the kind of return that makes perfect sense because it's used to completely enhance the storyline. She's the former tag team partner of Naomi. When Sonya Deville realises this, and I love the fact that she had to be told that because that's even more huge.
Go on.
Yeah,
right. Jacket off.
She rushes in, beats the living shit out of her, and throws her out, which is brilliant. As luck would have it, though, number 14 is Naomi. She runs over and checks on Cameron, immediately brawls with Deville, hits a springboard in Zaguri, and then dumps out Deville. I think it could have gone on longer, but
you can't just have them both in the match and just do whatever.
Yeah, you're probably right.
They've got to do it and finish it quickly.
I think maybe I'd have had Sonya in earlier though, just so you've got a load.
Yeah, longer.
Yeah, with them.
I'd have them eliminate each other as well. Have them just both split.
Although you could argue they probably did. It's just that they just left Naomi in the ring.
I don't know who Cameron is if I were on commentary to be told.
No, I would have had Sonya Deville on commentary pretty much. I'd have had her in number 4, and properly heal it up. Just
you might as well just wait.
Just because you've only got from number 11 till 14 for that little story, and it's the strongest story in the whole roster.
Yeah, but I don't understand that.
Carmella is out next, and Corey Graves puts her over. I don't know why.
I wonder why.
She heads over to her husband, and inside nothing happens. Number 16 is Rhea Ripley, who does get a good pop. She heads out. She rushes over and grabs Carmella. The tag champs pound her down. By the way, Carmella is the tag champ with Zelina. I should point that out. Natalia joins in and lays her out with a clothesline. Rhea comes back though, lifts both the tag team champions onto the apron and donkey kicks them both out. Number 17 is Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair.
Anyone want to explain this?
Oh, as the
There's the
SmackDown
champ.
champ. But I think it was gonna do the whole Brock thing when he was champ. Maybe they'll realise, well,
but
we
Brock
need
was in
more
it. That was
women.
one of the best things of one of the best rumbles when he was in.
Yeah, but it's only because if Brock had come in at number 17 and then just been one of the pack,
It
you'd
does
just
make
been
sense
thinking
doing it
load
like
of crap. If you'd have done it exactly the same, well, exactly you couldn't, and that's why I just think you'd over in it. Anyway, all I think it does is it points out there ain't a lot of women on this roster. Charlotte Flair, the number 17, the SmackDown Women's Champion, is out. As I say, the confusion here for me is having a champion in a match, but okay, if she wins it, then she gets to choose who she fights, I suppose. Aaliyah is wedged out of the
fight for the Raw Women's title, Corey.
Oh, is that was the storyline then? Is that what she was?
The other belt, Corey.
Is that what she was suggesting she was going to do?
The belief. People believed at the time that she might win it and then it'd be her versus Becky.
To unify it, because this is an era when they was on about unifying everything again.
Yeah. We got too many goddamn belts.
Yeah. Anyway, Aaliyah is wedged out by Charlotte.
Definite elimination by wedging.
Yeah. She lays in the chops on Naomi. Naomi is dumped out as we look set to see her crazy spot where she sort of hangs on the bottom rope. But Sonya Deville's still there. She pulls Naomi out just to continue their feud. Brilliant feud. Should have been a main focused match on Mania. But, Vince.
SmackDown.
Number 18, which is a nice throwback, is Ivory in her right to censor gimmick. This is the first time she's entered a right to censor, Ivory.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's been in a Rumble before, has it? Ivory.
I don't think so.
No.
So I did like this because it's brilliant news. Talking about doing a sort of skit on the microphone on the way down, telling them that nothing's changed. The roster is full of wayward, lost little girls. I love that. Rhea picks her up and she's still cutting a promo. It just gets dumped out.
Don't you touch me.
So brilliant.
It is brilliant.
And it works that it's Rhea as well because she's like the complete opposite of what right to censor would be. Ready? Number 19.
Yeah. It's Reba! David Sam was so happy.
My first word was Sam sticks his fingers in his ears as Brimo's please.
Best theme ever.
She lays in the knees to Natalia. Bianca and Rhea try to eliminate Charlotte, and we get reminded that these three were the final three last year, which was a nice throwback by old Jimmy. He's done his research.
Jimmy, I watched the pro.
And number 20 is another world champion. In the match is Mickie James, a nice throwback. The Forbidden Door has been opened as the Impact Women's World.
Well, I don't know why they just put Knockouts. See, this is the Knockouts title.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the Impact Knockouts title.
Yeah, they don't call them.
We're not calling them Knockouts. We'll have her, but we're not calling them Knockouts.
And she comes out to a
TNA.
sang theme, Hardcore Country, which is
It's her song.
Give me a pop.
fair enough.
Did you some pop? Did it?
Impact? I'm an Impact boy, yeah, so give me a little bit of a pop.
I do like the fact that, there's even the throwback to, if you're going to have Michelle McCool in it, at least highlight that these two feuded a lot.
Oh, you fat!
The Piggy James.
Yeah, which we might be back for.
Oh, do we have to? I saw that. It's terrible.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah, no, but
Mickie James throws out Michelle.
I don't know whether it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Is that a bit weird?
It's weird.
I bet she was supposed to win it.
Oh, God.
Taker,
Somewhere, Taker's throwing a chair at Vince in the back. Put her back in it!
Mickie James.
she was going back.
Now, this is...
That's it, Taker and Michelle McCool, Nick Aldis and Mickie James.
Oh, God.
There we go.
21, Alicia Fox. Oh, God.
Alicia Fox.
The commentary team tried to be nice about her sketchy past, and she lays in some kicks, because she was a Rungan, was she, in the backstage? No one liked her and stuff, apparently.
She was champ.
Was she?
Yeah, she was first African American Divas champion. I mean, it was the first black women's champion because Jacqueline was, but
yeah.
Oh, there you go, and she had a hat.
Lazy some nice kicks.
She does a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and a Northern Light suplex. That's her move. She doesn't do them all in here.
Well, the first thing she probably does is botch that double hair grab stuff. Number 22 is Nikki Ash. She's still towing that superhero. At least they play off on that later on now. Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Because she's split up from Rhea.
Yeah. Well, Rhea's waiting for her in it. Nikki suckers her in with them tapping behind, but she can't dump her out though, and has to run away. Nothing else really happens. Number 25 is Summer. Number 23. Sorry, is Summer Rae.
Yes.
The one who they announced on Raw and said a legend.
And everybody shit the pants on Twitter, and then she really had a go at everyone. That's why when she's running down, you hear she goes, "You motherfucker!"
Well, I said she does a nice fuck you as she bolts in to have a slap fest with Natalia, because I thought they were playing off on some feud they had that I'd forgot about or didn't care about. What's happened to her face?
That's changed. Everyone changes the face.
But she looks it's got really big fucking Ant McFarlane forehead.
Ant McFarlane. It basically looks like in Men in Black when he pulls his head back.
Jesus. Anyway, Charlotte fucks her up, and Natalia tosses her out.
I don't like that Charlotte at that moment either. I don't know whether it was supposed to just be Natalia. But she's a heel, and whoever beat her up was going to get cheered because the Summer Rae. So why did Charlotte have to have that thing? Because they called her a legend. And that's basically it. And fans get a bit annoyed and not.
But it'll take a lot to trigger the wrestling fans anyway.
You up, man? Calm down.
Number 24, we've completed the set. It's the Bella twins. It's Nikki Bella. She heads out to help her twin sister out. There's a nice spine buster. Alicia Fox is suckered into thinking that she's part of the Bellas and gets knocked out by Nikki. Number 25 is Sarah Logan, recently released at this point.
Yeah.
I think for this Rumble, she has such a fresh look. Like she's got a proper fleshed out, different gimmick,
got a gimmick
to 90% of these, which are just bitch woman.
and she's got the same face.
Yeah, she has. Yeah. Bless her. She shows off her power, knocking down the Bellas. We get a nice reunion for Sarah and Liv, and then the Bellas dump out Logan.
Do you think the other one will be in it?
And then they dump out Liv Morgan. Now, that's brilliant heel heat, because it gets them heels. I wish they'd have just done that for Mania.
Tag match.
Or just played off on it, because I think what did Liv Morgan end up doing at Mania?
I think she was in the team with Rhea Ripley in the tag title match.
That was where Sasha
and Rhea was thrown together team.
Yeah, fabulous. Number 26.
Rhea needs a partner.
Number 26, the star power increases as Lita heads out. She was announced and was in the company for a bit leading up to it.
She has the title match in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. She gets a good reaction. She DDTs Mickey from the apron and eliminates the Impact Women's Champion, or Knockouts Champion.
Knockouts.
Sorry, Vince was in my ear. Lita and Charlotte have a nice face-off with the logo in the background. Nice tease. At the very least, what it does better than maybe the men's later on is give you a belief that someone else might win it. Yeah. Number 27 is Mighty Molly. Again, nice seeing an old gimmick. I think Mighty Molly had
done it in 2019, I think.
They've done one.
They've done it once.
But the fact that she did it this time, because what she actually did is enter the match and got a load of heat for a recently turned heel, Nikki Ash, which is brilliant. Nikki Ash beats the living piss out of her and throws her out, basically, which is good. It's a nice spot anyway. Ronda Rousey, number 28, and this does get, whether you like her or not now, she does get the biggest reaction on her return. Looks so pissed as she heads out. Beats the shit out of Nikki and Nikki. Both Nickies, by the way. Nikki Ash is sent out. And then Brie Bella turns on her sister to knock Nikki.
Stupid!
Bella.
Do it at the end. Well, I do it halfway through.
Yeah, because that's what I did in the first Rumble, when Nikki knocked out Brie.
But I was in the last two.
Yeah, there was with Asuka.
So that makes sense. When you're halfway, there's still like 7 people in. Why would you turn on your friend then? Turn on her at the end.
Not only that, because before we get to her elimination, Shotzi's out at number 29. Now, I don't know a lot about Shotzi. I know she had the recent title
with Ronda.
Yeah, which
the great match.
Yeah, which apparently we might be back for. But I looked at her and I thought, fuck me, she looks like she's got money. Like, she looks got a brilliant light.
I saw her on the Indies and had done a little bit of Impact.
So how has she turned out to be so shit?
Like,
took
Vince got
away-
hold of her. And
Took away a tank
a tank, her last name, and made her an eel. And made her a bit
There
plain.
should never be a heel.
and took away her helmet.
She looks
with
like a
the spikes on
baby
it.
face.
She's a babyface, yeah.
She is a babyface.
Well, she comes out. It comes in as Bree is sort of accidentally dumped out because again, it looks like Bree's supposed to stay in, but she's
How
sort of
many of these
drops out.
people shouldn't have gone out?
I don't know. And finally, number 30 is Adam Bond. No, sorry, Sir Shayna Baszler. Ronda has a nice smile as Shayna heads out. Which again, I get it. There's a history, but there's like heel and face dynamics here that are a bit confusing.
Yeah.
She's better than you.
Yeah, this is the problem with Ronda when she's a babyface, isn't it? That it's always a bit like she isn't. They dominate the ring and they square up as Charlotte interrupts. I hated the spot where Shotzi is apologising to Ronda. She's a fucking babyface. Just looking kick it. Like, you know what I mean? If you get beat up by a stronger person, that's fine, but don't fucking apologise. Natalia follows out from Belair. Oh, by the way, Shotzi's turned out. Natalia follows from Belair. She isn't happy, so pops back in and then gets thrown back out again. Twist of Fate by Lita to Charlotte and a beaut of a Hurricane Rana from Lita to Rhea Ripley. Moonsault is teased but blocked. Lita goes on the apron and Charlotte big boots her out. Rhea survives a triangle choke from Ronda but eats a big boot from Flair and she's out. So our final four are Shayna Baszler, last year's winner Bianca Belair, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair continues to show her dominance. She sets up Ronda for a kick but Belair saves her. Shayna locks Belair in on a chokehold but Belair escapes. She sets her up for elimination but Flair eliminates both of them, leaving us down to Ronda and Charlotte in the last two. I have to say, where's the jeopardy really? Because I just think I just don't get it. Like,
really work unless he's going to win it.
Exactly, and if Charlotte does win it, like, then what for Ronda? It just
It's like having Brock go all the way and then he's eliminated by Drew at the end.
yeah, it just doesn't make any
If
sense
you're
to
going to
me.
do this, there's going to go out earlier.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, they square up, and in the space of 20 seconds, a missed boot, and Charlotte is eliminated. And even that wasn't
And then
really.
she just like stands up on the end outside. Don't even sell that.
No, yeah, exactly. But it's just like
What a bit.
they didn't even allow like Ronda to beat her up, show that she could be in
That's
jeopardy of a title. I mean, why? I thought for 90% of this match, it was done pretty well. There was too many.
Till Summer
There was
Rae.
too many legends that had no real sort of reason to be there.
Okay.
I love the Cameron one was good. Lita was well used for the
I thought you said
storyline.
the cameraman.
The cameraman did well.
Cameron.
Yeah.
Ivory.
I thought you said cameraman.
Ivory was good. Ivory made me smile. Molly Holly got heat for Nikki Ash. I've got no problems with them. Even the Bellas, because
Yeah,
you've
they did
always
alright
got
this
that.
one. Yeah.
But when you've got Summer Rae, you've got fucking Kelly. I would have cut a load of them, and I would have rather have seen a couple of the NXT women just get
Raquel.
a chance. I didn't like the Belair and Rhea Ripley eliminations. Don't think it really did a lot for Charlotte. It would have probably been better if it was Shayna or Ronda who got the eliminations on them. Charlotte Flair looked like the best wrestler in the world because to me this whole thing was designed to make her look like she's the best women's wrestler in the world. But yeah, I think I can understand why Ronda won. Hated how they used Shotzi because I think Shotzi's got a lot of upside. But I think there's probably more ups than downs on the Rumble itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part until near the end. And then I don't believe that Ronda needs to win it because I just think that when I know that I was fighting Charlotte when it comes out. When the minute it comes out, I know I was fighting Charlotte.
Yeah.
So I was going to eliminate her pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then I don't need to win it really.
Well, once you've established
Because you're wasting a Rumble win when you've got two titles in this day and age. You're wasting a Rumble win on a match that I know is going to happen, which happens later on.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
So it's like, why bother giving it Ronda?
The only thing I'll say
You
to
could
that...
have had whoever else win, which to me, well, I'll tell you in my rebuttal.
Yeah. The only thing that I would say with that is that just from crowd reaction, if you was ranking the 30 people who came out based on reaction, Ronda would be, in terms of the ones who could win it. Do you think it's surprise, or do you think it's the fact that she is box office? Because I think there's a lot of anger towards Ronda, and she is a bit crap.
She's shit in the face.
Yeah, she's a bit. But not only that, I don't really think she's a brilliant pro wrestler. She's obviously a good fighter. But I do think whatever she's sort of just got something that resonates with people, and he hates it, don't he? So, but that's my point.
Yeah,
if you can get Sam, who don't really care about wrestling anymore,
Sam hates most.
to care enough to either hate you or like you, you're doing all right. Sam's my barometer. If Sam don't care about him, I know they're over it all.
That's a sad state of affairs. You've got the barometer for wrestling.
Most people.
Jesus.
Well, let's throw to you, Sam. Thoughts on the match?
There was some good little bits. Like the Ivory bit, the Sonya Deville and Naomi should have been,
a Mania
done
match.
more. It should have been a Mania match. And again, it was the wrong winner. I just don't care about Ronda Rousey at all. Shayna Baszler is 100 times better.
Yeah, she
than
is.
her, and she's the one they needed to build. But obviously, unfortunately, they've screwed her over too much.
Well, that's the problem. She's dead in the water. I mean, even the way they've sort of, I don't know whether they've wrote Ronda out, because I know her contract was only for about a year, so in theory that might have been her sort of going away thing when she lost to Charlotte recently. But I thought it would have been nice for her to hang around long enough for them to split up and give Shayna the rub.
Have her beat her up and then become the monster again. Bianca, you could have had her win it 2 in a row to build her up more, and because her fighting Becky, which I think people kind of knew anyway, give her the win, because clearly, as you say, she's one of the biggest.
Yeah, them two, the star players.
The two biggest. So it was just boring in places.
Not much time to rest, as Doudrop is out for her title shot, so we go immediately into our women's championship match, which is a bit weird. But
I wouldn't have followed it on
with a women's rumble. Not sure the package does. I mean, this is where you're going to have to correct me. I'm not sure that the package does a lot to put over the babyface Doudrop, who isn't a babyface. I'm now told, which probably makes sense. But then, does this strengthen at best sketchy heel in Becky Lynch? Because I think the fans want to hate her because you've sort of deprived Bianca Belair run. But then she's just got so much charisma. And Becky is a babyface.
Becky's a babyface. I think they're trying to make her this big time Bex heel. And Doudrop, I don't mind that she's in this match. Vince really loved her because she had a match on Raw with Bianca, I think it was, and he fell over himself like Super in this match. Plus, I don't think she should be in the Rumble, because then you're going to eliminate her, and her size is a gimmick.
But if you did it right,
you got to have like 3 or 4 people in it.
I think you've got to do it like the Omos elimination,
or the Bianca,
or you've got to. To me, you've got to do it so you give. The only way you can put Doudrop in and get heat for elimination is if you let Doudrop eliminate a load.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes I want to see who can knock them out.
You've got to kill a few, as Jim Cornette says, Frankenstein's got to kill a few villagers before he's over.
Exactly, yeah. But
Kelly.
I feel sorry for Doudrop, because I ain't that bothered about the name, but I don't get the name. And I think this did we'll get to the end anyway, but I think it did her a disservice. This match. But anyway, Becky gets a much bigger reaction on the introductions. Doudrop shows off her power, but there's a natural sort of flatness to this spot in the card.
Yeah.
I think whoever was in this spot, it would have been tough, because it's just after a run.
Put the great family in it. All
right.
Becky fights back with a kick, but headbutts. But the headbutt sets up the bonsai drop. Becky slides out and away. Becky is fighting up, but she has to sell big on the senton. Doudrop misses her cannonball into the steps and staggers to the outside. She makes it back in on an 8 count, and Becky kicks her down. Becky locks in a rear naked chokehold. Becky sort of drop kicks Doudrop away. She gets cocky and slaps Doudrop, again, there's no real reaction to this, which doesn't help because, like, I think everyone's like, "Oh, it's supposed to be you've provoked the monster," but no fucker reacts.
Everyone's like, "Oh."
Doudrop belly to backdrops and slams down Becky. There's another running backdrop, and Doudrop has a 10-second scratch of head, which I love. Literally does a sort of fall away splash, and it just sits there and goes like that for about 10 seconds. You watch it back, brilliant. I thought, no, what the hell is she doing?
I've got dandruff. Maybe that was the first name instead of Doudrop.
Dandruff.
Becky locks in her disarmer. She wrestles away and hits a sit-out power. Sorry, I say she. Doudrop wrestles her away and hits out a sit-out powerbomb.
Pronoun boy.
Pronoun pal.
A cannonball in the corner. Not a corner. A cannonball.
Conan in the corner.
Too many pronouns, boy.
A cannonball in the corner gets a 2, and Becky gets her knees up on a Vader bomb. Becky goes up high and hits a Molly go round for a 2, which she does do impressively, in fairness. Becky misses a stomp from the top rope, and Doudrop sets up a series of headbutts. Becky survives hitting a stunner onto the top rope. Becky then hangs Doudrop on the top and hits a leg drop, barely, and gets a 2. Doudrop hits a modified slam, sets up the bonsai, but you know that slam that she does, what's that called?
The sit-down gutbuster.
Is that what it's called? The sit-down gutbuster?
Just sit-down gutbuster.
I tried to find what the name of the move was.
It's probably got somebody's probably called it something. But...
The Doudrop.
The Doudrop.
Becky recovers, hits a Brett Rope manhandle slam for her title defence. Sam, so are you?
This was just underwhelming. It don't make sense having a heel.
Does it? Do you think it enhanced Becky Lynch? Do you think
No.
you come out of it thinking
It was
Becky Lynch?
basically Becky needs to fight someone. Is someone going to beat? That happens with a lot of the champs in some of the pay-per-views.
I think you would have been better served if you're going to do this whole Charlotte Flair wants to win to take on Becky, doing Becky wants to win to take on Charlotte, then win the best women. And just put them both in. If there's just not a worthy title match, just give them both.
And then build it up by having whoever knocks them out.
Yeah.
You could say, okay, them choosing...
I think the only danger, they probably don't want to do that because they know that it's almost admitting that they don't see the women as the same level as the men. But the roster size is what it is. You can't do a lot about it unless you have a 50-50 split on it.
Built up enough women, they've focused on the 4 horse women too much and... the others suffered.
Jack?
I don't like the heel versus heel. I don't get it at the time, and I still don't really get it. I don't think it helps Becky because I think it gives her the wrong kind of reaction, which is the babyface reaction, which she don't want when she's going to go into the match with Bianca down the line.
I agree.
Doudrop, I don't think it helps her losing clean. No. I know it is the champion, but still, she is like 3 times bigger than her, and she's just been beat by falling off the second row. So I don't think it helps Doudrop that much. I don't think the positioning in the card, and it would have been this way whatever match, although they should have put this next match on then instead of this women's title match.
Definitely.
But it just don't help it.
Especially because you know the next match
It's
isn't going. It's not going.
This is a wrestling match, and that's a story match. So put the story match next because that'll get the reaction, and then put the wrestling match after, which will be okay.
It's easy, isn't it? I think you both said what I said. No one expected Becky Lynch to drop the title, and she didn't drop the title. Don't think Doudrop benefited from the title match, especially so early into. Let's face it, most wrestling fans, and even though most of the time they're wrong, most wrestling fans haven't really taken to this new gimmick name, everything for Doudrop. So I think has been on the roster probably about a year now at this point.
Just after Mania.
So not even a year. I ain't quite sure she's ready to be put into a position where she's like the Hogan conquering monster.
Well, the issue is as well
because you've got to have a proper meaty. When they did that with who was her? That released
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. Sorry.
At least Nia Jax had a bit of a run of beating people and building her up to when you can feed her then to whatever babyface you want. Although Becky's not a babyface, so there's just so much illogicness to this booking.
Yeah, I think the issue for Doudrop as well is she comes in as heel, they sort of rush the face turn against Eva Marie at SummerSlam, where she just takes a jacket or whatever.
Oh, is this the
So she
bully thing
turns
as well?
face.
The bullying thing was that?
Not really. Then they do like the face turn. Then she's doing a little finger thing, whatever the bloody hell that gimmick was. And then she's quickly turned heel again. So in the space of a year, she's only had 2 turns. She's lost the person who gave her the name. So, and when she turned face, she still kept the name, even though she was annoyed at the name.
Vince and these giants not knowing whether they should be babyface or
It
heel?
was just a bit
I
like...
get it with some joints because you can be just like a final boss for anyone,
Mm.
but it just don't work when you keep switching them.
I think the thing that's so sad is that actually in ring it was fine. Like there was
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
really
yeah,
wrong
yeah,
with it.
It's just very underwhelming.
Yeah,
crowd
Story, the crowd,
Yeah.
the positioning of the
It's
card.
unnecessary.
We get a big backstory style promo now from Brock. Brock was born on a farm.
Oh
And,
no shit!
He goes through his amateur background, his uprising, his UFC career. They do ignore his failed NFL career, but we'll crash over that. He's put over strong. Bobby Lashley gets the same build. The similarities between the two men are highlighted. I'll tell you what, this new style of package works perfectly here, where they're giving the narration in depth in the pro. It feels like a boxing match. That's what it feels like. Boggy,
What they should have done.
Boggy Lashley.
It works with 2 combat people, though, I think that's...
Yeah, with them
Yeah, it
too.
does.
Yeah, it's
That
the
would,
right
you
one.
couldn't do it like Taker and Gonzalez.
Yeah, the backstory of Taker. He was born in a moor.
Joint crush.
Yeah,
One is a clown.
one was hatched out of an egg. Bobby gets ring walk first, and let's face it, I mean, he's 46 years of age or something like that.
He's a freak.
He's in his either mid to late 40s now, he is. And he looks fucking amazing. I think he's older than Brock.
He's a freak.
He is just...
I think he is.
Have you heard the gimmick he wants to do?
No.
Where he loses a match and he gets fat.
Yeah.
He wants to lose a match,
Get really fat.
Go into a depression cycle, get really fat, and then somebody pulls him out of it where he gets back fit again and becomes...
Yeah.
He wants to properly get 70 or 80 pounds fatter.
He's going to do a Brendan Fraser.
I like
What if he
Lashley.
does it though?
Yeah,
and
I
then
like
he can't
Lashley.
lose the weight.
Well, you know he would, because he's a freak.
He's a freakish man.
And I tell you what,
MVP
MVP with a little stick. Fucking brilliant. And he was
He did have a knee injury, but he just kept
it.
I hope, because they teased it on Raw, didn't they, them getting the hurt business
I think
back
I'm going
together.
to put them back together.
I hope that them going to bring Lashley with them.
Yeah, he will, because he ain't on TV at the moment.
Yeah.
Because he got fired, not fired, but then they sort of forgot about it.
It's just this period of Bobby is so interesting.
Yeah.
Which
And then
none of his
having
career
MVP
is
is
really
as good as
he's
hell.
ever been
Yeah.
at the moment.
And I think MVP is probably just second to Heyman. He's like another Heyman.
God, yeah. I think
Somebody
he's just
so
such a
good.
solid man. He would have worked in any era, though.
Yeah.
MVPs, that could.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar walks out and he looks like he's going to destroy the world.
Has he got his hat? Has he got his hat?
I don't think
I don't think he wears the...
When he's got his powder towel there.
Paul Heyman won't let the introduction be done by anyone else except himself. Brock loves the pop that the crowd give him. He's like, what? It's just so good. And you instantly think, fucking hell, this is going to be amazing.
And then it's finished.
And then the bell rings. No, I take that back. It does feel huge. There's a lovely hookup, which you don't necessarily see anymore, the big sort of meaty hookup, and push apart to start us out. Bobby Lashley is German suplex down, and Bobby gets immediately back up and does his own, which impresses Brock Lesnar. Brock recovers to hit 2 of his own. Bobby starts to get angry, and he gets his right hands in, pushes Lesnar's F5 away into 2 spears. Brock has to roll away. Lashley lines up Lesnar for a spear through the railings, but Lesnar suckers him in and he crashes through them. Lashley immediately recovers though, fuck selling that, and sends Brock into the ring post. Brock dodges another charge inside, and Brock forces Lashley to take a German after German after German. Lashley looked crippled on the 8th German. Brock's Achilles heel, though, seems to be that he can German suplex you. The moment you try and get an F5, he can't do it. Lashley rolls through into the hurt lock. He's put over really strong by the commentary team, in fairness to them. And Brock's selling as well, because he does sell it well. Brock sandwiches the ref in the corner, and on his F5 attempt on Lashley's legs knocks out the ref. Brock gets the visual win, but Roman Reigns is out to hit his spear on Brock. Looks down at Heyman. Heyman initially looks scared, but then hands him the belt. Roman KOs Brock with the title, and then Lashley covers for the win, and Roman and Heyman leave. I'll say what I was going to say first. Are we putting over Lashley? Because all the walk on the back is Roman. I get it. It's all story. It makes sense for where we want to go. And whether it's the right way to go or not is up for debate. But if you are going that way, it makes sense. But there is definitely a better way for him to do the betrayal, and you can still put Lashley over, which is that when he went to hit him with the belt, why didn't Brock F5 him?
And then
Lashley spear him. Because at the very least, then you know that Lashley's the reason that he's won.
Yeah. This was his second reign, wore it.
Yeah, because
he'd already won.
Did he beat Drew?
He beat
at that point.
Yeah.
You can have him do a little stare with Roman, and then you can tease a three-way.
Exactly. And not only that, Lashley and Roman haven't had a proper feud.
As these versions of them.
Yeah, I know they've had matches before.
He had matches when he was heel with a headband.
Yeah.
Was a big doll!
What was it, with Drew and...
With Drew and Corbin,
yeah, that weird team, or it.
I like the betrayal. Paul Heyman only has to do two things on the whole show, and he does them brilliantly.
Yeah.
Well done.
And, you know, I get it. It's the money is in the main event. They do what they do well. WWE, they know how to build that. But I just wish we hadn't already have established one champion is better than the other. And that's pretty much where I felt we left this. Jack?
The match is fine. You know, it is what it's going to be, which is suplexes and finishes. The whole thing is about just getting the belt off Brock and doing the turn of Heyman again. Because ultimately he shouldn't have had the belt because he should have fought him at day one, but he had COVID, so he just won the WWE title for some reason.
Took it off Big E.
Put the belt on Bobby, fine as a champion. He is a bit forgotten and an afterthought, and then he randomly starts high-fiving the crowd, which is like, hold on, you're a heel when you're high-fiving the crowd. So
I don't mind that, though, you know.
Because he's happy.
He bumped fists with them on the way out as well.
Yeah, well, I think he forgot, because at one point, there is a Raw where Mad VP sort of says, what are you doing, sort of thing, you're a heel. Because he starts fist bumping people at one point, and then he goes all angry.
Yeah, there's certain heels that shouldn't, like Miz and them that shouldn't. But I kind of get cool, you know, dominant Bobby sort of doing, I'm doing what I want.
Yeah, who's going to stop me?
Yeah. But he is a bit forgotten, and the title then is demeaned a little bit. But it does achieve the goal of, we know where we're going, it's Roman Brock, Mania 27 times in a row or whatever it is.
No tractor.
Which is fine, but...
Do you think it pretty much spoils the ending of the show?
Well, I don't think... Well...
Not at the time.
Yeah, I know at the time, but like, it kind of does.
We knew, watching it, me and you, he already looked anyway, but me and you hadn't, and he went on. Me and you
I did, because I continued watching it at all.
Me and you hadn't read the results, but we figured out what was going to happen. I just don't believe that it was needed. But we'll talk about that.
No, it wasn't necessary.
Because you know at this point.
Yeah. So,
I mean, the story with Heyman was good. And the match was what it was, you know, two meaty men slapping meat, which it usually is with Brock.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really didn't do anything for Lashley. And the way he loses the belt at Chamber...
He's injured, though.
He was legit injured, because they played off he got smacked in the head day or something.
Yeah, he did. He comes
that
out,
took him out. Yeah.
I just love the fact that people moan about Lesnar having one style of match. Oh, it's boring and stuff. And then, well, Hogan, Flair. I mean, even Austin wrestled pretty much the same brawling style. Everyone who's ever been over ever has always had a style of match, and they work that style of match.
Yeah.
This, to me, what do you want fucking Brock Lesnar to be doing?
I want him to do A suicide dive.
Suicide dive
A
destroyer.
tope suicida.
Or do you want him to do like a Bret Hart 60-minute Iron Man match with fucking Bobby Lashley? I mean, have a word with yourself. You know what you're getting from Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
He's not-
You're getting a load of Germans, a load of fucking spears.
And
Do a victory roll.
Yes, he back when he first was starting, he was different. He could
Yeah,
have
but
style of match, but he's evolved into a proper star from the UFC.
Don't get it, he earns $6 million a year doing this style of match. I ain't doing no fucking suit.
And when he wants to change it up, he just brings out a tractor.
Or his boombox.
I just don't.
When he can be bothered and when he wants to have a laugh.
I don't
Brock
think I
is
can
brilliant.
actually knock any of the in-ring work on the whole
Brock at the
card.
moment is as good as he's been for a long time.
Definitely agree completely. We get the bill package now for Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. And as Jack and Sam have both alluded to, this is the It couple versus the Grit couple.
Great.
We
couple.
have
Fuck
got. We have grit.
Great.
Gritters.
Gritters. It's
inside baseball, that is it.
I think they need him, don't they, in America at the minute?
Yeah, they do,
Grit.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
call Edge and Beth. Come and grit the road.
It's Mr. Plough.
I do like the fact
Mr. Plough.
Mr. Edge, that's my name. Yeah, I do like the styling though both teams have got because you know Beth Phoenix with her fucking something as Mary, something about Mary.
Yeah, that's.
But that goes with like Edge being 90% hair, so.
Cavemen versus the.
And then they've got the red and stuff. I do like the styling of the match.
Yeah.
Corey Graves gets so confused. He says that Edge is going out with Maurice and Miz is going out with Beth at one point, I'm sure.
Hey?
He just gets it completely ballsed up. We get immediately a chase off between the two women, and Miz pulls Maurice out on top of him.
Oh.
Miz and Edge start us off. And Maurice grabs a handful of Edge's plentiful hair, and Miz jumps.
It's not quite short-haired Judgment Day Edge.
No, not yet. Or Uncle Howdy Edge.
Uncle Copeland.
Yes, kicks to Edge, and then a backbreaker, neck breaker combination. Maurice with a tame running slap on the outside. So Beth Phoenix just grabs a chair. Like that. Fuck, I'm going to fucking smash the living shit out of you. She wants to take off Maurice's head. There's an implant DDT, and Edge is back in the match. Maurice wants none of this, though, as Edge makes the tag. Beth runs through Maurice, hitting a spinning side suplex. Miz has to make the save. Miz stumbles back into Beth. Miz initially isn't worried until Beth corner charges him and beats him down. Maurice cracks Beth with her purse in the build. I think she had a brick in the purse. Is that right?
It's the old school.
RS.
Well, it's just what the women used to always have bricks. In
Got a brick.
Yeah, that's it. Well, what else would you have in a purse? Beth makes a kick out.
Great.
Maurice shows off her lack of wrestling skill.
Grit in her face.
Maurice shows off her lack of wrestling skill with a terrible camel clutch.
They wore too bad back in the day.
Well, I don't know what's
Maurice.
happened then.
Well, I'm watching her weight at the moment, and she does do a camel clutch a lot.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way. So she knows that move.
yeah. Not great.
Not great, but she knows it.
Yeah, at least it's a camel
I
clutch.
can pull your chin.
Yeah. Double clothesline spot, and both women make the tag. Edge is caught off the top by Edge. By Edge? No, it can't be.
By himself.
Edge is caught off the top by Miz, but Beth cracks Maurice and powerbombs the Miz. Edge hits his elbow from the top for a 2. Maurice trips and sends Beth into the steps outside. Edge hits a flapjack and sets Miz up for the spear, but Maurice helps by distracting, and Edge flies into the middle rope. Maurice does hit a very impressive Hurricane Rana off the top, and Miz hits his skull-crushing finale, the greatest finishing move.
Never wins any.
Never wins.
I don't like the name.
It's horrible.
But he never wins
Never
for this
wins.
time.
It's annoying because every match he does it, so I have to fucking write that word every single time.
I just that's what I come to SCF.
It's always on sale.
Every time we watch him, he always hits it. He never wins first time with it.
Well, he thinks about it because
I don't think anybody anymore. They ain't finishers no more.
No, that's true. But he tries to get his wife to do a double skull crushing finale or SCF. But Beth is into stop.
I won't get one free.
There's a double spear to Miz and 2, in fairness to Edge, glamours and slams. So he does his wife's finishing manoeuvre. And the Grits couple have won.
Gritters win.
Gritters go over.
Won.
Sam, thoughts on the match?
The match wasn't too bad for in rings, but it was it was just there. It's like, okay, we need another match to fill the card. This could have actually just been Edge v Miz, and then you could have built to this as a Mania match, possibly.
I'm giving away all my booking, but I just think to myself, Edge has been in 2 Royal Rumbles where he's won it.
He won it the year before, number 1.
And never won the World Championship off the back of it.
Yeah.
It's a ready-made storyline, isn't it? You just have him, I've got to win it, and I've got to win at Mania. And not only that, then when you can play off this feud with Miz in the Royal Rumble if you want to, and you can build a storyline on who eliminates Edge, because Edge goes from, I love my wife, I'm a nice man, to I'm now a devil man with the evil group pretty quick.
And then comes back in.
I'm not.
And then
No, he's in Mania. He's at Mania.
Yeah, against AJ.
No, he comes back in March. I think he's off.
He's off for
and then he comes back and says, I want to fight someone, and then AJ comes out.
And that turns him heel, doesn't he?
You would just beat the shit out of him.
But they'll link
like
it back
that
to the 2020 Rumble because he spears him, don't he? And AJ
break his shoulder
because he gets eliminated early because he's injured.
Which, again, if you had them both in the Royal Rumble, you could play off as well. But anyway, it's fine for what it is. I can't knock it. I can understand why it's on the card. But I do think Edge might have added some, needed winnable star power into the Royal Rumble.
And a better theme, considering a lot of them.
And even Miz, God. Yeah. Jack?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think on the card of story-driven matches and 2 Rumbles, it's nice to have sort of there's a bit of comedy in there, with Miz getting beat up by Beth Phoenix and all that. It felt like a nice book. It was booked quite well. But all 4 are very good at what they do, and their character-wise are all strong. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match, and it ties up the feud nicely.
They're both. Edge and Miz at this point have got about 40 years worth of wrestling experience between them, and they just know what they're doing.
Brett's really good, and Maurice is a really strong character. So
Maurice.
It worked well.
Maurice does a job really well. That's the thing. Even though Maurice is the weaker of the 4 in the ring, everything she did, she didn't look embarrassing. And we've seen some wrestlers. Remember Jenna Maraska?
We have to.
WWE gives some love to USA and the serviceman who's in the crowd. And yes, Samantha Irwin. Is it Irwin? Irvin. Samantha Irvin.
Alan Irvin.
Oh, don't remind me of him.
You've made me remember Maraska. You remember it.
She does it well, to be fair. And AJ Styles enters the Rumble in the number 1 spot. But the internet explodes as the number 2 is Shinsuke Nakamura.
The internet explodes and then remembers how shit the feud was in 2018.
Yeah, don't remind us of them matches. Kick him in the dick!
Why do you keep kicking me in the dick?
I don't care the fact that he's probably overplayed at this point, that he does it every time it happens, but fucking let him do it anyway. Dancing on the table, Pat McAfee, brilliant. Love it. I know you hate it, but there ain't no one that title looks better on than Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't care what anyone says. It's not the prettiest belt.
No, it's awful. It's
but
awful.
It really suits him.
It does suit him. I will give it that.
It looks a bit more Japanese, though. In a weird way.
It does.
It looks like an WGP belt.
Yeah.
But it's fucking awful.
Unfortunately,
it looks like
the IC titles have all been pretty good up to now. That's why when you suddenly get this,
even Greg's green one.
He destroyed.
You mean
Bring that one back.
Taskmaster Greg?
It looks like
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
they've got some
Prime
sort of
time
like
Greg.
trophy or something, and somebody's ran over it.
Yeah,
It's
Like
just
Greg
like-
Davis's face.
Right, it's a nice start with a few sort of. Well, there's a few elimination teases. Shinsuke goes for Kinshasa, but AJ avoids it. Number 3, he's still got that Austin. It's Austin Theory. I did write Theory because I was sure he was just going to be called
Greg was
Theory.
after Mania. They got rid of it.
Yeah, you'll get confused.
Which
with
makes no
Stone Cold.
sense because I thought
Well, I think
at Mania you would. I can understand it. Maybe at Mania, not. Although
if he'd have said, I don't want to be called Austin because of what happened at Mania, because he stunned him and Vince.
Yeah, so I don't
and
want
so
to
on their Theory, it would have made a little bit of sense. But they just sort of went, right, Theory now.
But it wasn't because Vince said the people had confused him with Austin.
No, he just likes one-word names.
I thought it was because of that.
He did it with Riddle, he did it with,
I can
Big
kind
E,
of maybe
Cesaro.
understand it. Ironically, I mean, not that Shinsuke Nakamura is that tough for people, but I can kind of understand it with some of the really deep Japanese names. But like Austin Theory, we wouldn't be able to.
I don't understand.
He's mad, but he's back.
Plus
and he's
Theory
taking
is the
over
worst.
again.
Yes.
It's happening again. The storm clouds.
back on Theory.
We get the story anyway from Cole to fill us in that Austin Theory is McMahon's sort of chosen one.
We know how that happens, though. We
Yeah, he
just
lays
have to-
out both men. Eventually, they gang up and try and eliminate him. Cole fills us in that 2 men have won from number 2. Doesn't mention number 1. Don't know why, but he does talk about number 2, which was Triple H. No, Rey Mysterio. Yeah.
Number
Number
1,
one,
you could
though.
say 3.
Sean
Sean, Edge, and
Oh, no, not Taker.
No.
sorry.
Sean, Edge, and another one.
An anonymous.
Hardcore Ollie.
Yeah.
Robert Roode or Bob Roode, which is
Bob
again a
Roode.
brilliant thing. He's out.
But he ain't got his glorious, has he?
Nah, but
Here to show the world.
he will.
He's a
he will.
very dull.
He'll get it when he comes back.
Well, he's only on out shows, apparently. So.
He hits a pair of beautiful spine busters. And you know what? I never realised this, but that face-off between Robert Roode and AJ Styles, and the fact they've never done that feud.
TNA.
I know,
TNA.
you would have been up.
Oh,
you would have
pop in. I haven't put a little love art. TNA Chad love art.
I knew
I
you would
love
have
It
been.
would have. Oh, it would have been a good match.
for
that.
TNA.
It's just because for some reason Rude's now saddled with
It's because
fucking
Vince
people.
looked at him and went, how old are you? And he went, I'm 40.
I can kind of get why Vince.
Well, AJ's in his 40s.
AJ can do a lot.
Yeah.
Robert Roode can do a spot.
Rude's like
He's a good
Triple
hand.
H.
I just think middle of the card, that's a nice feud.
He's a good hand.
Right, you've
Yeah,
got
very
it.
good
So.
hand.
Styles hits a forearm to Roode, who's on the apron, and eliminates him first from the Royal Rumble. So Bob Roode is not going to me.
Bob. Poor Bob.
Theory plants.
Couldn't
Shinsuke
it
in the
been
middle.
Theory? Wouldn't that have been a better story with Vince then coming out and get pissed off? He's chosen one and he's the first one out.
Possibly. I think you won.
Vince should have been out.
Vince should have come in and gone, right, I'm going to win it.
Vince
If
should have
you
been number
can't do it.
They should have given him 4 numbers in the Rumble in case he kept getting eliminated.
Wouldn't have been a bad shot, really.
Yeah,
As
this
silly
would-
as it may sound.
Would have been a good story.
Number
Could have been number
5.
30 instead of the farmer man.
Yeah. Number 5.
Farmers here.
A lot of meat in this match. It's Ridge
It's
Holland.
Peaky Blinders. I think.
Yeah. He's got his face mask on, hasn't he? And
Oh, he broke his
Fair,
nose.
yeah.
didn't he?
They won.
he does it a really nice underhook suplex. Shinsuke's
I'm
knocked
going to say
out.
not a belly to belly.
Yeah. Shinsuke's knocked out of the ring slightly off camera as well. They don't really focus on the build up to the elimination, but Styles knocks
It's
him
weird,
out.
eh? That Shinsuke's won a rumble. in
Very
it since
flat as well. The fact that he's the IC champion again. Why did they not use the Rumble to build up
A match.
a match?
Yeah.
He ain't
You
the
know.
champ though at Mania, is he? Ricochet, who's the IC champ boy at Mania.
I couldn't tell you.
I think it is. I think it is because the IC in the US they appeared, didn't they?
Well, I know
Yeah.
now Shinsuke's in the opening match, isn't he? Because that was where
Tag title.
my boy,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I'm telling you now, he's my boy, gets injured. Well, one of my, I mean, he ain't going to be a boy because he's definitely going to be a world champion. He's out next, number 6, Montez Ford, who is
Oh, I thought
definitely,
you was on about Rick Boone.
no, definitely going to be
He
a world
is going to get a
champion.
big
Oh,
push.
I mean, Jesus God. The only thing that worries me is that he is the best natural athlete in the company, and the last person that JR called that was Billy Gunn. But
What about Shelton Benjamin?
Yeah, well, he ain't won anything.
Well, maybe, but I mean, the only thing with Shelton and Montez is about 20 years.
Good point.
Sort of team.
And when Billy got it, 40 years.
I know, they sort yeah, because he don't take it, did he?
Beagle.
I don't know whether it's the right time just yet, but if they do it right, he's got such an upside.
He will. He's too good not to be at the top of the card.
Yeah.
He's a good long baby face, so you can have
that's my only concern is them teasing him as a heel, and I ain't sure he should be the heel, but maybe. We'll see. He does his impressive drop kicks anyway, where he gets about 9 foot off the ground.
Yeah.
Damien Priest is in next and in desperate need of a proper gimmick. He's
because he come in and he was cool and he was Priest and and that, and then they had this thing where everybody got like a gimmick change, and no doubt somebody just looked at his name and went Damien Priest. There's hell, there's heaven. Now he's got this. Us switching to this angry man.
Was it the Archer of Infamy?
It was just the Archer of Infamy at the start, and he was just this cool guy because he had the Scott.
If he'd have built that from the start as his gimmick, he I can get the heaven and hell thing, but I never like those sort of gimmicks because I think it's a bit limiting. Because so what causes you to turn, and why don't you just be like trying to win a match?
Unless it's Ken Shamrock, it doesn't work.
Exactly,
because he is mental.
Yeah, because he's mental. But yeah, anyway, he zones it. This is where we start to do the nothing happens. Zones it out.
That's
nothing happened.
Sami Zayn is number 8. Is the number 1 contender for the IC champion. Not much happens. Number 9,
this point.
and this probably shows the state of your roster, Vince. Gets the biggest pop without shadow of a doubt, whether you like it or not. And it is a nice I ain't a big fan of Jackass, but it's a brilliant sort of baseline note.
It's like if
there's a jackass in the room. Brilliant.
Knocks Billy's out.
But that thing for the Jackass thing, it's like if you do something wrong and then
brilliant thing.
He takes down Zayn and the crowd fucking nuclear pop. He smashes Styles, so Styles clotheslines him down. Montez gives him a huge splash, and Zayn steals the elimination whilst he's...
It starts... Don't he start dancing a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I love Zayn. I mean, look what he's become. He's got to... This is
where it sort of
starts.
His comedic...
My only concern is that you know that he is going to obviously turn on the or get turned on. But I do think I'm going to keep him at a level below Roman, and I think there's enough there for him to be at the same level as well.
I don't know, but I think he'll fight him at Chamber. I've been saying this because he's in Montreal.
I hope he does. I just think the work that he does.
Beat the Usos.
It'll be Owens and Austin.
And they did something last night again, didn't they? Where they tease.
They do something on Smack. I ain't watched it, but I think they tease it again.
Yeah, but I mean, you could the fact that Sami Zayn could easily be in the main event against Roman Reigns this year, and last year was fighting a non-wrestling celebrity. Is he 60?
He's in his 60s.
In his 60. And fair play to Johnny Knoxville, because there's a lot of celebrities that don't get it. He kind of gets what he's got to do.
I think he's a wrestling fan anyway.
Yeah, said, to be fair, because about the mousetrap, he said he figured out that if it goes wrong, he knows how to do it and everything, and the timing and everything. He said he understood.
Yeah, and it was the right kind of match with a big hand slapping.
Yeah, it's a brilliant match.
We'll never do it for what it is. You can't have a 3.5 hour. Well, there's 2 back to back. You've got to have something to call the crowd.
It's a variety show.
Anyway, Zayn's out. Styles throws him out, but probably did what he needed to. Built his feud for Mania. Didn't need to stay there too long. Number 10 is, no matter what it says on the ring apron, Angelo Dawkins.
What does it say?
Montez.
Oh dear. It shows where you have in the team.
The Street Profits team up to try and eliminate Ridge and Priest, but nothing much happens. Number 11 is the Giant Omos, who enters the
Royal Rumble. I thought you meant Big Show.
Is this his first Rumble?
Yeah.
I mean, again, people can shit on how crap he is in the ring. I've only seen one match.
He's a giant. He shouldn't have
And he ain't just a giant. He's the biggest bloke I've ever seen in my life.
I think the people, because I'm sure Nash and Hall have been working with him, they say work like a giant.
Yeah.
Because you are a giant.
At the end of the day, if you're flicking through the channels and you see him, you're going to stop.
When he stood next to Montez Ford, who is about 6'5", and he was still looking up.
He's like,
I mean, Jesus, guys, you imagine if Taker and stuff was around now, because there ain't really anyone, you know.
That's the difficult
they've done
thing.
Bobby.
And they've done Braun.
And they've done Braun. They could possibly give him Brock, but then he's not.
It's the issue, and I think Kevin and Nash said it on his podcast, is there ain't enough bigger people. Hogan had the Hercules and all these sort of people. How am I saying got them? He's got Ricochet and all these small.
I wouldn't mind seeing Cena against him. I reckon Cena could
have ball spot.
I know he has got a
he's got a next. I just think that they've got to be careful, because the one thing that Vince did well is he was a bit stoic to listen to the audience that mattered rather than listening to all the internet people. All the internet people are going to moan about the quality of match or whatever. But Omos, you have to have someone like Omos on your roster.
Yeah.
Because it's such an easy win of a match. You just shove him out. And look, Great Khali.
Big man, look at him.
Great Khali he's still believable that he's the world champion. I will always defend that.
Even Hornswoggle said that, because I think during one of the interviews I said, do you give him a belt? And he goes, look at him.
Yeah. Well, he would say that about anyone, though he's little.
He's tiny, man. You had a belt, look at you.
But yeah, he does send both the Street Profits packing back to back, and then Styles is sent crashing into the ring post. Styles was with him, weren't he? I think
it was the year before, Warren, when he was at... Did Almost actually come in the Rumble the year before, when he was meant to help AJ?
I don't know.
I have, to this day, still not watched the 2021 Rumble.
We might be back in a few years for that. Number 12, Vince guffaws in the back to see little man Ricochet head out and bump around for Omos. He's bounced up and down by Omos.
That's a match you can do.
And again, I think if it was me, I'd have had Omos in either earlier in the Rumble or later in the Rumble. And then look like a credible threat to win it.
Yeah.
I think this spot doesn't do him any favours, because he's sort of like in and out within the space of about 10 minutes. Chad Gable, again, Vince sends out all the tiny men, but at least he allows Chad Gable to get some sort of heel character work.
He was a heel warrior, but he is so good.
So good.
He's just angle. He's technically though.
If he was 2 foot taller,
that's the issue.
He would be a world champion.
Was he doing the shoosh gimmick at this?
He sort of did shush a little bit, but he started to get better.
He
just all the stuff that then went in a minute when I was.
He just is too small. That's the problem. He just is too small to be a real credible world champion. But he's got character work. I think where they've got him now is the right position for him, because all the people the internet community can want him to be the world champion. He's just not believable as a world champion.
No.
But I love the fact that you get to see him most weeks on Raw, and he's been in main events on Raw because he's such a good character that you can have him job out at the end of Raw with a fucking pumpkin on his head, and it still works. I love him, absolutely love him. He gets them all together, sends in Priest, who gets dumped out, poor Priest, and they now start to gang up on Omos. Dominic Mysterio's in and joins the group.
I forgot he was on this.
Yeah. Well, so did we. AJ hits the flying forearm and dumps out Omos. That doesn't lead to anything, but hey ho. Number 15.
I think they'd already had their feud, hadn't they?
Yeah.
My voice has gone funny.
Number 15 is Baron Corbin, or Happy Corbin, I should say. Chokes down Theory and then pushes out Ricochet. I'm not sure there's any heat in this match so far, apart from Johnny Knoxville and Omos. Which is madness. Number 16 is Dolph Ziggler, which, I mean, you couldn't have sent out anyone less. But he's got no heat. He's the coldest wrestler.
He needs to just go away for good now.
Yeah. Corbin catches Dominic.
He's not chewing the chewing gum for a wick.
Yeah.
You've lost your flavour. Piss off.
I don't mind the fact that they're trying to give him the sort of you know,
He
most
can have a
appearances in
good,
Rumble.
match with
But
people.
what I always keep saying this: if you've got a card of 30 men or whatever that are going to be on WrestleMania, you would want most of your Royal Rumble to be matches that you can spin off into Mania.
Yeah.
See, Dolph Ziggler ain't having a Mania match. When was the last time Dolph Ziggler had a Mania match?
I don't know whether it was on the last one.
I
think it might have been.
Was it Dirty Dogs?
Dirty Dogs.
Or was he in the Andre Battle Royal?
I just, I think there was definitely. Well, again,
no, you're right. Though.
You didn't need to be in there. Anyway, inside,
couple, but
on his little.
He's the kind of one that you should have when Omos comes in. He just throws them out. The cannon fodder.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
He's a bit of a bump machine, though. I suppose.
Yeah, he can.
Corbin catches Dominic and hits a deep six and tosses Mysterio out. The crowd, I think, are supposed to boo Corbin, but nobody cares. Styles tosses Theory, which does get a little pop. Which does show that Austin Theory is doing his heel thing
but
right.
again, it's the wrong thing. It's like in the middle of the match where it's just like, what does it mean?
It's more that he ain't really done anything up until that point.
That's what I say. He should have been the first one eliminated.
Yeah, if he'd have done like Sonya did, where he's avoiding the match,
and then and got
or like you said,
away.
Vince keeps giving him back in. He comes out and says, "No, he's allowed."
Gotta go in.
Yeah.
Or have him come in.
His two hands have to
and have him just go out straight away. Like try and one of the quickest, and then Vince just go, what you doing?
You don't eliminate anyone, and then he's just out.
But then the next pay per view is in the last two in the chamber with Brock. Number 17 is Sheamus. He does get a big pop, in fairness, and everyone loves Big Shamo. Ridge, though, is immediately clotheslined out in front of him, and I've just put why. Again, you've got at least a bit of a storyline
with the
tag team. And the tag team they decide on, no one wants that one. But yeah, he hits the Irish Curse backbreaker on Gable. Now, this is where it picks up. Number 18, Rick Boogs. I fucking love Rick Boogs. What? That is it.
He gets it.
That is it.
I love you. What was his name in NXT? Rick Bugenheimer.
Eric Bugenheimer.
Because he's just like playing the.
I love this bloke.
He is brilliant. Watch his NXT. He was brilliant.
A brilliant gimmick.
He's so good. He's
sorely missed. When's he due back?
Mania was when he got injured, so most injuries don't last much longer than a year. So who knows? Surprise Royal Rumble Rick Boog. Oh, I love him.
Surprise Rick Boog.
Concept. I think people would like it.
I would fucking pop. I would boo
or have him do the entrance for Shinsuke.
No, you probably do need to reheat him before you just shove him randomly in a rumble. He ragdoll Styles around, then deadlifts Gable. One hand presses and dumps out Gable. Fuck me, he's brilliant. And he just poses because he can.
Yeah,
because he gets pose for a bit.
He gets it.
I ain't going to just lay in the corner with someone. Yeah. I'm just going to pose.
Why not?
Make the most of those minutes, you beautiful man. Number 19 is Madcap Moss. Seeing Happy
Corbin. God, here we go. Number 19 again.
Yeah. Boogs press slams Ziggler. Madcap and Corbin start to team up on Styles. It results in a big boo as Madcap and Corbin team up to toss out Styles.
Yeah, what a waste. What a waste.
The problem is, I get like heel heat, and I do get it, but like Rick Boogs, you could have probably got the same reaction from them eliminating Rick Boogs.
Well, yeah, I don't think it helps Moss. It more just gives them more go away.
Exactly. So yeah,
and they never fucking have a match.
They end up fighting Shinsuke and Rick Boogs at Mania, don't they? They end up the match.
That's the Usos.
Who do
Corbin fights?
Corbin fights Drew and cuts
Moss
the rope.
Is just in the corner.
Is Drew does he fight Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, that's the feud. And then AJ, I don't know what he does.
Because Drew was a surprise in this.
Edge.
Oh yeah,
because of his neck war.
Yeah,
the thing about his neck.
Well, in fairness, then, if you're going to position him that high on the card at Mania, he's probably got to do this sort of run.
Well, he wore it that high. I think it was like the second match of the first night.
Yeah, he had a match.
But Moss is his lackey, and he's
You know. Well, they fight him. Was it at Chamber where he did the they did like a slingshot and he like landed on his head.
Yeah.
Was that? Or was
Oh,
that
and
on
then everyone
SmackDown?
thought he was
He
going to be like...
broke it because even Corbin, you see him go, ooh, but he's all right.
That's when
But-
they're playing off the neck injury.
Yeah.
Even though we know.
Number 20 is Riddle. The crowd do pick up for the bro. He Germans down Madcap.
Was he
Boogs.
with Orton at this point?
Yeah.
Boogs is the next to feel the wrath of Corbin, and Madcap Moss is dumped out. And again, there's boos all around. Number 21 is the returning Drew McIntyre, who zones in on Madcap and Corbin. He handles Madcap first, then sends out Corbin in the space of a few seconds. I do get that it's a story, and again, I agree with what you said. It is difficult then to just have him in the corner and not fighting. But it does feel like, you know, it's over and done with again in the space of a couple of seconds.
How is Drew in any danger with these two?
Well, exactly. How are we supposed to believe now Corbin and Madcap Moss are any sort of threat when he's just dealt with them? And he just beats the living shit out of them outside. Number 22 is the biggest disappointment of the whole fucking card. It's Kevin Owens. Owens and Drew brawl outside. He does it, his kip-up powerbomb, cannonballs Riddle in the corner. Rey Mysterio is in at number 23. He almost drops out, but Riddle... he almost drops Riddle out, but Riddle hangs on, and he is stunned by Owens inside. And number 24 is Kofi Kingston. Unfortunately, some spots work. And,
this was the one that screwed up for him.
I mean, it's a fucking hard spot to do.
He's got to land.
And he jumps really high as well.
He's got to land sort of belly first on the railing, which I wouldn't want to take that.
Yeah, because he dropped. Yeah, I remember this because it was like.
Yeah, it's a shame for him, but it's like the ref was like, "Well, we've got it.
It's on camera.
Yeah, we've got to let you go." So yeah, he's pushed off the top. He's supposed to catch himself on the railing, but yeah, his feet hit the ground, and then that's it. I almost feel at this point we know the Rumble is cursed. Like when a Kofi Kingston spot goes wrong, that's it, isn't it?
Oh, poor Kofi.
Number 25 is Otis, and the commentary, which is there any centre of gravity lower than Otis?
He is a very he's like a bean
I don't think there is. I think he is the lowest point of gravity in the world.
See Austin's promo for 2002. That was his strategy. A beer belly. So lowering your centre of gravity. Makes it harder to be thrown out.
He's good though. He does it to slam on Drew, and he is deceptively fucking strong, isn't he? I mean, he's just such a meatball. Number 26 is Big E. Doesn't feel like a contender. He should be. Big splash, belly to belly on Riddle.
Before the pay-per-view, he was the most recent WWE champ.
Yeah. Number 27 is Bagged Bunny. Again, criticise it all you want, but he does get a pop, whatever you say. He takes down Sheamus and head scissors down Owen. There's a bro with Riddle, and then he hits a destroyer on Riddle. Sheamus tries to dump him out with a bro kick, but he ducks, and Shamo is out. Sheamus is out by the bunny, Cole says. Bunny and Ray team up with a 619, and then they toss out Ziggler. I can't help but feel the same effect would have happened if it was just Ziggler. Left in Sheamus. There's a naughty attempt as well of tossing out Ray. But yes.
Naughty, it's a naughty.
And now, the time has arrived.
Have you heard the story with this, though?
Go on.
This should have been Orton. But they played Shane's music, and Orton started laughing and went, I ain't fucking going out, you go out. The order should have been the other way around.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So even that...
So they screwed that up.
What an absolute utter disaster. I didn't know that, but that's brilliant. I mean, it makes it even worse that Shane was going to put him in at number 29. Like, that's just brilliant. So, yeah, Shane McMahon is
his
number 28.
His first official Royal Rumble. I counted the greatest Rumble, but it's his first ever Rumble appearance.
Off camera, Ray's knocked out by Otis's belly, which is brilliant. Shane is in. He lays in punches to Riddle. He reverses
a UFC fighter.
Now, I ain't being funny, but like, if you're going to book yourself to be this sort of uber baby face and the crowd will love me, don't be throwing out Kevin Owens, you moron.
I know they did have the story on SmackDown, they year ago.
Yeah, no, but Kevin Owens is the fucking. I mean, even when
everyone likes
he is just the. I think he's the closest to Austin they've got on the roster.
That's true.
But anyway, he throws him out, and there's big boo straight away. He then starts potatoing Drew. Randy Orton.
He does that to a certain person who does not give a fuck.
What a boy.
Number 29 is Randy Orton, who does get the biggest pop of the match.
He does get
It's
a
in his
massive.
own
But it is in his own
Oh,
turn,
is it?
isn't
Oh,
it?
is it?
Big E is tossed out immediately, which again flattens this stupid pop. Like, I get it. Like,
Yeah,
but
why do you
immediately you
eliminate
throw him out. He throws out Big E in the crowd. I'm like, well, we want to boo that.
Give
but,
a heel.
Yeah.
Give it Shane. Shane should have knocked
Shane.
him out.
Shane should have eliminated Orton straight away.
Should have won it, shouldn't it, really? Okay, bro,
I
take
don't know,
down Drew, and then they toss out Otis. I mean, that's what they could have done. Just toss down fucking Otis.
Yeah.
There's 5 left in the ring. One of them is Bad Bunny, and there's one person to come out. In fairness to Bad Bunny.
One of them's Bad Bunny and one of them's Shane.
Yeah, so you know 2 of them aren't. There's no chance they are going to win it. Number 30 is Brock Lesnar. So here we are.
No.
Yeah. Belly to belly for everyone. Bad
Everybody
Bunny,
then went, well, we might as well go on. We know what's happening here.
Well, not only that, Bad Bunny just watches as Randy Orton, who's just got the biggest pop in the match, he was in the match for about 2.5 minutes because he's clotheslined out immediately to massive boos.
Yep.
Again, you're trying to put over Brock Lesnar as a babyface. Massive boos. F5 to the Bunny, he's out. Shane McMahon now stands up to Big Bully Brock. Gets belly to bellied.
Excuse me.
Yes. Big Bully Brock.
Big Bully Brock.
Yeah, we all know that. Riddle is caught and tossed out. Again, booze. Shane McMahon can't even go out right.
3.
Can't
Nearly
even
there.
go out right. He has to get clotheslined twice, but he's out. So, yeah, we do get a little bit of a smack talk as Drew comes out the corner to face off with Lesnar. Least that puts over Drew as in Brock's league for about a second. He blocks the F5, misses the Claymore, and then he's just basically F5 to the outside. Bit like Ronda Rousey in the fact that he didn't have to. Well, he's eliminated RK Bro, which is so over.
I think he's going to say eliminated Bad
He's
Bunny.
eliminated Shane, who
He should have been
is
in the last
greatest.
Shane, and he would have got oh.
It's like the Roman effect. Eh?
Even
What they used
Bad
to do.
Bunny was a stupid elimination for him because he's over as well.
Yeah.
Crap.
Well, it was so bad that WrestleMania sign caught fire.
It's so bad.
Not only that, I mean, he pretty much they get out of there pretty quick as well, don't they?
So I got out of there.
Yeah.
Ross Kemp couldn't have got out of there quicker.
Jack, thoughts on this debacle?
It's absolutely shit. That's the problem, mate. Is you live and die by your rumbles, and the 2 rumbles.
It is the barometer of
But
going,
this
okay.
is so bad. Like Johnny Knoxville's the first thing that happened, and he's a celebrity. Then he's Omos, and they don't capitalise on that. Then nothing really happens until
Shane.
Bad Bunny and Shane. RK Bro, I'm so over. So it's hard to have him in it because
I just think
so.
there's-
And then you bring out the bloke who we know is going to win it now because he's in it.
Yeah.
And he eliminates everybody who's got a positive reaction from the crowd, but he's the babyface. Apart from the one who should have won it, which is Shane McMahon. Well, what a man! I love him. He should have been in the final 2. He should have won it.
The key thing, really, I mean, there weren't a lot of contenders going into it, but if you suspend your belief that Brock is obviously going to be in it and think he isn't in it because he's not been announced, then realistically, there's probably about 3 people who can win it, and by the time that Brock comes in, they're already out.
There's 3.
Well, 2 of them at least.
AJ?
I remember thinking, there's probably 3. There's Orton and Riddle, because the thing was they might fight each other. And he's in it, Orton's hometown. But I think if you're going to split them, Orton's got to be heel. Or Big E, because he was champ before.
Yes.
Well,
I think Owens
last
by
year,
proxy that it is Owens.
Yeah.
He's believable as well. But yeah, I'll accept Riddle. Although I do think if you're going to give it to one of them, it'd have to be
Well,
Randy
he's in his
Orton.
hometown, ain't he? So
Yeah.
it's hard for Riddle.
But realistically, I think it. At best there was 4, and 2 of them was out by the time that Brock come in. Why couldn't? I mean, the one thing WWE has tended to do well is that the contenders tend to be there at the end.
Yeah.
Or unless you're Undertaker and you're going to put over Maven,
Yeah, or something like
that. But
to do a bit of a story
Yeah.
between there.
Building
with-
But by and large, you have the last 6 as your big 6 contenders, and then when you sort of whittle them down from there. You don't have him coming out and he's facing off against fucking Shane
And
Bad Bunny, you twat.
That's great. I loved it.
This is why Shane
Get
no
Vince
book.
back.
Shane, what a man.
I love the fact that Vince had to fire his own son after this. It was so bad.
You're a huge disappointment, pal.
And then he had to resign, retire, get back and sell the company, all because of this rumble.
You know
all
who's going to
because
buy the
of you.
company?
Shane.
Shane.
I'd love it to be Shane.
Shane buys it.
Turns it into fucking Raw
Vince
Underground.
come back.
I hope he beats Roman for the belt at WrestleMania.
Anyone got anything positive to say about it?
No. Johnny Knoxville was quite good.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I think
I
the
like that.
honest
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
is,
savvy, I think.
in many ways, I'm grateful to the fact that Shane did enter himself, because if it didn't, this would go down as the Johnny Knoxville Rumble. That would be the only thing to talk about.
Was he booking it?
Yeah, but the fact that Shane just put himself over, I think that helped. I didn't like the Madcap Moss and Corbin thing because I didn't think it was heatless, really, for the sake of it. The eliminations of Owens, Big E, Orton, Riddle, AJ Styles, all done poorly. These are all upper mid card, the people you should be moving to be credible threats to Roman and Brock, and you haven't made them credible threats. You know, we said this with the Orton feud with Brock years ago, where they didn't make Orton feel like he was on the same level. And he's still not. And it's Orton. Like, you know, everything that they did. Is it the worst Royal Rumble ever? Probably not. But for the star power, it's got to be in the bottom 5.
It's down there.
Yeah.
I think it's near enough. How many and worse?
I think
2015.
Yeah, 2015 was the Roman
That
one.
was Roman.
That was pretty bad.
Roman where it should have been Brian.
But that's when they had Kane and Big. They had Kane dressed in the worst
Corporate
Kane.
Kane and Big Show
Yeah.
eliminate all the favourites.
All the favourites.
Kane.
95 just because of what it was.
2011 because nothing happened.
Nothing happened, so like,
It's
the Rumble 40.
Shane McMahon beat up a UFC fighter.
I'm sure there's others.
And he was sweating by the time he got in the ring.
I can't defend it. It's definitely one of the
it
worst.
is down there.
And I
Here
think
comes the money!
If anyone-
he was going to fight Theory Warrior. I think that was the thing.
Shane was.
I think it was going to be Shane v Theory.
Why didn't they have him in then when he was
What, Shane and Theory?
just build it then?
Because Shane's booking in, he's got to look like he can win. Here comes the money!
I'm my daddy favourite.
Match of the night.
Might have been the Rumble, but it's going to be Roman Seth, I think.
It's Roman said.
Yeah, Roman.
So basically, after that, everything went downhill.
yeah.
But it did get progressively worse because the worst match of the night is the men's Rumble.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's the Rumble.
By a mile. MVP?
I'm going to go Seth. I thought he was brilliant.
Seth. I did have an honourable mention to Pat McAfee because I think he did really well.
Yeah.
Because imagine if that was done by the 3-man booth of Jerry the King Lawler, Michael Cole, and Booker T or JBL from like 2015.
My God.
That shit that would have been. At least they had a bit of excitement on the commentary
A
show.
little bit, yeah.
LVP.
Well,
I mean,
there's
literally,
a few,
I'll put 99% of the entire roster, and I'm talking women and men, were done a disservice by this whole event.
People
The Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and Shane, obviously.
The Royal Rumble.
Even the bloke who won the belt was done a disservice.
I mean, I can't call Shane the worst because I think LVP's. I always judge LVP as someone who goes in and comes out much worse, and Shane actually comes out better.
I think
although he does come out without a job.
Orton, you know, it's his own turn and he's sort of
2 minutes.
shitbag day, like
2 minutes.
2 minutes in, and all he does is eliminate Otis.
He's eliminated before Bad Bunny and Shane in the.
Wait, can't go out of Shane. Shane's too
I would
good.
have probably just said the entire women's roster because the women's title match was unnecessary and the women's rumble was just awful.
The
You're
LVP
desperate
was
for a star
us
to
watching.
break out,
Yeah. And you got one and you did have a win.
I think that's right.
It again.
Because I actually feel worse coming out of it than I did going in it. So I agree. I think
Well,
that's
them
probably...
reviewing this, I guarantee, in about an hour's time, I won't remember any of this.
Oh, well, I'll always
That's
remember
the
this.
drink that is.
So, we now take the, I think, relatively easy task. Although it's always difficult to explain how you're going to do it without going through a whole rumble.
I've just done a card.
Yeah, I've done a card and I've done sort of bullet
I've
points.
done every minute.
Have you done all
I haven't done
Right
everything
there,
for the rumble.
Batch
I've just done who I'd have win it. And that's it.
Mine's going to be pretty quick.
Okay, well, with pretty quick, I think we will open up with Jack.
Well, because, I'll tell you now, the undercard, I'm not changing.
At all.
I'm keeping...
The grit.
Are you
I'm
keeping all
the matches.
Are you keeping all the outcomes
And
of
I'm
the
keeping
matches?
the Seth DQ.
Yeah.
I'd probably give Lashley a little bit more where he does actually get a win over him, not by Roman's doing. He spears Brock.
Yeah.
And I would tease Lashley, Roman, Brock, even though I probably wouldn't do it. Edge and Beth I'm keeping. Becky over Doudrop. I think Doudrop shouldn't be in the Rumble because of her size. I would give her more of a mountain to climb. I do think heel doesn't work, but I don't think there's a strong enough contender, and I don't want Becky in the Rumble. The Women's Rumble, Charlotte's going to go out by Ronda earlier on.
Yeah.
Charlotte is then going to cost Ronda and eliminate her. So you've kept Ronda strong.
Sorted
That's
that.
your feud. Go away now. That's
Let's
your SmackDown
focus on
feud.
who's going to be
Let's focus on who's going to be the winner of the women's to fight Becky.
Yep.
Which for me, the most over babyface is Bianca.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with just giving it the most over babyface. So just give it Bianca again, and there's two in a row.
Yeah, because the
It's
first
the
one
right
there was no fans there. Was
That's
I'll
true.
just
Yeah,
leave
you
it
can
there.
then you can start to build it as a record as well.
Men's Rumble. I'm not giving it Shane. Brock ain't going in it because I know Brock's fighting Roman. So what's the point in putting him in it? You got to have more heat in it, so at least build up. You know, Zayn and Knoxville. You know, Drew and Corbin. All right, they're going to do it. But for me, I wouldn't. I toyed with Orton. I toyed with Riddle, and then the title match at WrestleMania of RK Bro exploding. But I think them so over that you don't need to split them up.
No.
So why split them up? So I would give it Big E because I think you need to reheat him a little bit because you've done him a disservice at day one by dropping the belt when he don't need to. He's got Bobby again now, who's WWE champion, so he's got that match again. And I just think Big E deserves the big moment. You could probably have him lose at Mania as well, but I think Big E needs establishing as a top star again, so I would give it Big E. And he's always going to get the pop because it's Big E.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. Well, I mean, in terms of my rebooking then, Seth and Roman, exactly the same. I think if you're going to do a dusty finish, and it's got to open, I completely agree with you. Got to open, and exactly the same, because Roman's got the storyline with Heyman, which I liked. Makes sense. My next match is Charlotte versus Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan's high enough on the card to be fed to Charlotte in such a way, and if
You can
Charlotte,
build the baby.
Is she
Yeah.
not on more?
I don't care. I did put that.
Does it matter?
Yeah, I did put that because I thought I know she probably won't be, but I don't think the draft matters enough for
At
that
this
matter.
point.
I put Charlotte wins,
Enough.
and then she announced she's not scared of anyone, so she's making the announcement now that whoever wins the Rumble is fighting her. She's not scared of anyone that could possibly win this Rumble, so she sits at ringside and watches the Rumble. The Rumble, so I have made some notes. Doudrop would be in it.
Santina
She would have the
Morello.
she would be in it from the Tamina spot, and she would have the most eliminations.
Who?
Doudrop.
Doudrop. Maurice would be in it to continue the storyline because she would eliminate Beth Phoenix thanks to The Miz. So Beth would be in it, Maurice would be there, both of them team up to eliminate Beth. I'd say the Iron Woman of the match would be Bianca Belair because again she won it from number 3 last year.
Yeah.
That's right. So I would keep the fact that she's the Shawn Michaels of this sort of roster. Ronda's return would happen earlier in the match. I'd have Charlotte now start to realise, actually, I've said that I ain't scared of no one, but I am a bit scared of her. So I'd get her to try and get people on side to help eliminate Ronda. Sonya and Naomi, I'm happy with the way that played out. I'd cut Sarah Logan, Summer Rae, Alicia Fox, Michelle McCool from the Rumble, and I'd add NXT women because I think the cheap throwaway pops that you can save for.
Women?
Oh God, I can't help you
Mandy
there.
Rose.
Yeah. What was
They
that?
were on NXT at that point of their thing.
I'd have Carmel.
When was 2.0?
the middle of the year.
Oh, is it?
I'd have Tina Arena, Sonia.
Tina Arena.
Sonia Blowback. I don't know the NXT women, but yes, they beat it. I'm okay with Melina. I'm okay with Melina being number 2. I think it's a unique entrance. Although if she was injured, maybe there's an argument to pull her. The Bellas as well, I don't mind. I would always look to spin them off to have a match at Mania as well if they're willing to do it. Because from the women's point of view, there's no one anymore that could come back because you've bled Lita and Trish dry.
And the mold.
You've got to. I think the Bellas are probably there, but I would have Ronda winning. I still think there's more value in Ronda winning the Rumble than Bianca Belair, but I would have Bianca being out last. On her way to the back, and the reason I'm putting Bianca last is because my next match, Becky and Bianca would get into it as she's leaving disappointed. Becky's coming out for her title defence. They have a spat, fall apart brawl. Becky says she isn't interested in what Charlotte has to say because she's the most dominant women's champion there is. Then Mickie James comes out to fight her because she's a champ. So I think there's more value in Mickie James having a proper match than getting eliminated by
title for title.
Maybe. No, you can't.
Title for title.
There ain't no way Vince is allowing Becky match on Impact. So I would be Becky really Mickie really competitive. Becky's going to win, obviously.
There's a win with a bin bag.
Brock versus Bobby, same as was. I liked most of it. I've just told you what I would do. F5 to Roman as he gets the belt. Grabs Paul Heyman, Lashley spears him, Lashley wins. I think it's much more important to establish that Lashley's on the same level as Brock and Roman than it is to continue a story that we already know. And I agree with what you said. If you just then have Lashley look at Roman as if to say, if I wanted to, I could have took you out as well. And I like that because Lashley is as believable as
just
a
give
top
yourself
star.
More multiple avenues where you can, and you never know what avenue you're going to go down.
In the back, as Roman walks to the back with Heyman, Vince McMahon, because I'm having watery eye Vince McMahon, would say he'd say you spoiled 2 world titles matches now. So as punishment, Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar are in the Royal Rumble match because I want to give more power and more credible people.
The enemy says, and me.
And I would have Roman as well. Then tell the Usos because I'm retconning any injury that happened that they've got to sort at Roman and Seth. So my Rumble: no Rude, no Ziggler, no Shane. Replaced by the Usos and Seth Rollins. Them and the 3. Them.
No Shane.
No Shane. It would be my build up to it. Yeah, keep Bad Bunny. You've got no issues.
What about
with Bad
Bat? You moved Bat in it.
What?
Patterson. Patterson's dead.
I think he did.
I might have done, but no. My build would be all about this Rumble, and I don't know whether it's true, but sometimes you can just say something and the fans will just believe it's true. It's about the most former Royal Rumble winners in the match. I would build up. This is all about former winners against new winners. So you've got Riddle and Orton. Riddle's never won it, Orton has. So there's already a tension between them two. Ray and Dominic. Ray's won it, Dominic hasn't. Tension. Edge would build it because he's won Mania twice, but Miz would tell him, Rumble twice, but Miz will tell him, I win the Rumble, but I won Mania. You win the Rumble, you've never won it. You've got that tease carrying on there. Big E would start to show a lack of positivity after his title loss. Kevin Owens would play on this. That just gives a little sort of tease between them two. I'd also have MVP getting into the mix and getting into Big E's head that he should have him as his manager because he's managing. Look, he managed to get Bobby Lashley the title shot, and Big E was the former champion, so it's worth him being in his corner because look what he's done for Bobby Lashley. So those are the storylines going into it. AJ Styles, I'd go from 1 to the end. I'd have him in the end because I think he's a credible can win it.
He's the one who can.
I'd have him eliminate Edge near the end as well. Edge would eliminate Miz. That sorts out their feud. AJ eliminates Edge because then if you wanted to turn Edge heel, it makes sense
Yeah.
rather than him just saying, I'm now angry at you.
You can't be my final Rumble.
Yeah, and not only that, how can he be the heel if he speared AJ and broke his shoulder? I don't quite understand how that makes him heel.
AJ kind of over-rotated.
Yeah, Big E would eliminate Owens. At least that the boos would be tempered because it's Big E doing it.
Yeah.
I would have him maybe tease being a bit more aggressive as well, rather than the positivity. He's a bit more sort of heelish. I'd have Bad Bunny in earlier with the Mysterios because I think they kind of play off with each other. Maybe them two are having a fight. Bad Bunny calms it down and then eliminates one of them or something.
Dominic.
I'd definitely have Omos in early to just get through the field, throw out the Otises and the people who've got no chance because Omos is definitely money. The Usos would eliminate Drew near the end of the match, but Drew wouldn't make it to the final 6. My final 6 are Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins and Big E. Jimmy and Jey would eliminate AJ. Brock would then toss out both the Usos. Roman would return and this time eliminate Brock, choosing him over Seth, which adds to the Seth's crazy joker of I knew you loved me really, but you chose me over Brock. And then he would stomp him as well. He'd stomp Roman because again it keeps him. I want him to be the Joker to Roman's Batman. You can't kill me,
But
and I'm always going to win.
That Batman cheater.
No, I know, but he is a bit of a heel.
I suppose.
AJ, what am I on about? AJ, he's been eliminated. I've said that. And then Big E would eliminate Seth and win the Royal Rumble. So Big E wins the Royal Rumble. It allows Seth's character to grow because he's still in the title picture, even if he ain't involved in the title match.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brock versus Roman's a lock. Big E then wins, but you can play off to the
Roman.
Whose side is MVP going to go on at Mania between him and Bobby Lashley? Because at least the problem with Big E's title run is no one cared about Big E's title run, so at least you've got to add that wrinkle. AJ and Edge is built. The Knoxville stuff stays the same as was. I think I'd have Drew be eliminated by the Usos because it keeps a reason for him to have the Bloodline feud, which he's obviously going to go on through 2022.
Yeah.
And I'd probably have him with a partner against one of them at Mania. I don't really like. I don't like just agreeing with fans on Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin to me is just a bit bland and boring. So I think Drew deserved a better match. But there's my awesome rebooking. Go on.
Right. Again, I'm fairly light. Universal title, just keep it.
Yeah.
You can't change that. So keep all that. The Raw
you can't change. Oh, sorry, I don't want to remind you of that.
No, please don't. He's not in it. Raw Women's title, I'd actually have Beth Phoenix fight Becky. Because, I mean, she's a credible person. You could have had Becky go on NXT. I don't know if she'd gone from NXT commentary, hadn't her, at this point. She was still on NXT.
I'm pretty sure she was.
Well, there you go. You could do something there. Say, look at you now on the on big time NXT, and look at you used to be the Glamours, and now you're a puppet.
Yeah,
you're a puppet.
I'll never end up commentating on a
I'm too big of a star to be on the
which does play into the big time Becky.
So you know.
Well, we're retconning that. Jimmy Uso is not injured either.
So I would have had that because I don't want the grit. On it. And Beth Phoenix, he's good. I mean, even in the Rumble she's been in and that, you know, she's
really good. Better than
SmackDown Women's title. You've stolen me thunder. Charlotte v. Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is a credible babyface who you can throw out and still do a, you know, I come so close, and you know, and Charlotte can belittle her saying you're just not good enough, kid.
Yeah.
You know, and then have the arc throughout the year for her to build up.
Yeah.
To maybe win at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
You know, give the rest of the year to do
it.
You know, you don't have to have them like Rumble to Mania.
Yeah.
You've got till SummerSlam, another big
show. You beat me once, but you won't beat me again.
Yeah, you won't beat me again. I'll fight back. You're right back to the start, you know. You can do that with Liv Morgan. WWE title, I'd keep it and the story with Heyman, but I would have Brock hit him with the F5, get up, turn around, it with a spear, pin, done.
Gotta be done.
You got to have Lashley look strong. I'm not unifying the belts, although I like that they have, but at the same time I think maybe it's best to keep them separate.
Yeah.
So, the Women's Rumble, I'll get to the men's in a bit, Bianca wins it. She's got to win it. Sod Ronda. It's got to be Bianca.
Sod Ronda.
I have actually put Sasha to win the chamber. So I think you'd have a better match with Charlotte and Sasha, because I don't think...
There's only 3 women that could win it, and that was Becky.
So you're basically never using Ron.
No.
The
only other one I was thinking was Shayna Baszler.
No.
But I just thought, I don't know if the bloom's off the road.
I think you could...
She needs to build
if
back.
Bailey was no longer injured...
Her'd have been the one I'd have picked,
Yeah.
but I know she did... They had break her leg or something in...
Well, Adair ended
Was
up
it
not
like
coming
August
back
or something?
until-
It
was
was
a year.
or a proper year, so... Yeah, it would have been Bailey, but obviously you got Sasha, who you can use, as much as, it is a bit waned. You can eat her up a little bit by having her win the chair.
Well, let's hope New Japan can.
Well,
Jesus.
well, from
got
what I've heard,
flames
it
in it,
didn't go...
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
The men's rumble. Right, I'm having
Kenny
Brock win
Omega
the chamber.
versus, I think it was 97 stars.
Oh, of course it was. Brock would win the chamber,
Okay.
because I think it was unnecessary, and then he fights Roman. I did initially put AJ to win because I thought he's a credible person who could win the. Well, I've just done it so these and the other alternate to fight the other champs. AJ, but then Big E. What your argument with him? I thought AJ or Big E, either one should win the Rumble.
Choose one.
I'm going to go with AJ. I'm going to go with AJ, and I think I would have him go a long distance, not from one to win it. But
Who's he going to fight at Mania?
he'd fight Lashley. I think you'd have a decent match.
Yeah, he
there.
would definitely have a good match. I think
And then that could be like the first night one, because I mean, as much as Brock Roman, it is a big marquee match. So you could have that night 2 and have this night 1. I mean, the WWE title in a way is an afterthought because the Universal titles are
That's
big
the problem,
and really
isn't
hate, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So AJ, I think, should at least win one Rumble before he finishes. He will.
Although he helped himself by busting his ankle on the eve of this.
But he's somebody you can build up. You can have him in the mid. He can fit anywhere. It's like what happened in TNA. He just moved all around because he's that good. So I'd have AJ win it. And
I think sometimes you can throw a curveball and really just enhance someone's reputation by just having him win a Rumble. You don't have to build it so you know he's going to win it. He just wins a Rumble and instantly he's like, shit, he's the
that's
star
what happened
now.
with Nakamura.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he announced it and he was being built, but at the same time,
no one really thought he was going to win it.
No.
So. Well, there you have it, folks. That is our rebooking of Royal Rumble 2022. If you're listening, Vince McMahon, because you're now in charge, all 3 of us definitely did it better than your son. So if you want to adopt one of us, let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com.
how much you selling the company for?
Yeah, we ain't buying. Our Twitter page, which is at BCC Pod, or our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCC Pod. We round out the episode, as we always do, with a rather complex fantasy card, as we took the idea of a booker going mental and running wild on a Royal Rumble, and we opened it up to complete and utter fantasy farce.
I've got
Here we
6 Rumbles and done like who the booker would have been and what would have ruined it.
That's it.
That's what it was.
Exactly
I thought when you said, I thought it was one Rumble and you
it could have been.
booked it like that.
Yeah, it
That's
could be
what
as
you said
anyone
to-
as you want, though, because, I mean,
Yeah, I know
for
that,
instance,
but-
my first opener is Royal Rumble 92 being rebooked by Ole Anderson, so I'll give you that sort of idea as to how it works.
Yeah.
But it can be any booker
Yeah,
of
I've got that.
wrestling
I've got
history
that. I thought it was.
in
One
any
booker,
Royal
right,
Rumble,
okay.
and it could be ruined in any way that you want.
I'm quite happy with something.
Yeah, if it's a giant egg winning the Rumble, I'm happy.
No.
As you rounded out our fantasy then, Sam, and you're quite happy with these, we'll open with your first ruining of a Royal
Right,
Rumble.
the first one is the 2022 men's, and I've just put Shane.
Shane
booked himself.
ruined it.
He ruins it, so there you go.
Not so much fantasy as reality.
That's reality, unfortunately.
Yes. Well, as I sort of teased, my opener is Ole Anderson rebooking it to make sure 1992 is not won by Ric Flair, but is won by Ole Anderson.
Or his son.
No, Ole. He
Just
would
Ole.
definitely put
Drop
himself
the
over
Ole.
his son. Jack?
92, Bill Watts.
Ooh.
And he's won by
Dr.
Eric
Death.
Watts.
Eric Watts. There's your new WWE.
Does he have an awkward interview afterwards with Ron Simmons by him?
Yeah.
Right, my next one, 1995.
Yes.
So think about how you can ruin that.
Yep.
I've had Bill Watts
Yeah.
booking his son to be number 3. and go in the distance with Sean and Bulldog.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. The three.
The first three and
Oh, that'd be brilliant. And then Eric Watts knocks them both out. My next one, 2004 Royal Rumble, rebooked by Paul Heyman, and obviously the Paul Heyman boy, Nunzio, wins it.
Yeah.
Why not Nunzio?
Yeah,
2005, which is Cena Batista.
yeah, the four.
Vince McMahon rebooks it.
In mid-match.
These quad wins.
And no winner.
He comes down.
There's officially no winner of the Royal Rumble. Go home.
He goes no one's winning.
Ours won it.
It's the
No
opposite
title
of
matches at
94.
WrestleMania.
Instead of co-winners, no winners.
No winner.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, we've
Brilliant.
never had a non-winner.
Sam?
Next one, 2018 women's. Stephanie books it and wins. Why not? Because it was close
She
to happening.
invented women.
Well, the 1999 Rumble was booked, I believe, by Vince Russo, and Vince Russo is booking this one, but he hasn't got the other Vince in his ear, so D'Lo Brown wins it.
Or Jeff Jarrett.
Because he's definitely a D'Lo boy.
Oh, I think Jeff Jarrett. Even though they don't like each other.
2019, Jeff Jarrett is in it.
Ooh,
He
yes.
rebooks it and Jeff Jarrett wins it.
Yes. From
It's a
the,
power!
from the number 3 spot.
Yeah, from number 2.
Was he number 2?
wasn't he? With Elias.
Brilliant. Oh, yeah, he was.
Does it
Brilliant.
just come out?
Jeff
Right.
Jarrett wins it.
My next one is the 99 Rumble, booked by Eric Bischoff. And Hogan wins with a finger poke. So it could be either Vince can flying out of a ring and he wins.
Quite rightly so.
Wow.
1990, the closure of AWA has gone through, so Vern's got the book
Oh,
of
yes.
Royal Rumble, and well, obviously,
Greg Gagne wins.
Greg Gagne is last eliminated by Vern. Because Vern will put over his son
Going to put over my
to a fight.
The Crusher and the Bruiser.
Them are the final 4. Crusher, Bruiser, Greg and Vern.
What a fucking rumble.
Baron comes in.
2000, Vince Russo.
Yeah.
He eliminates The Rock to win, and then the next night he gives his top match to the Big Show.
I thought he was going to say Mae Young.
1988.
Yeah.
Booked by Fritz Von Erich.
God, which one?
All of the Von Erichs in it. Except Dave, because he died at this point. And I did put Mike or Lance, the non-Von Erich wins it. Lance, the non-Von Erich wins.
Lance.
Who picks his
And
non-violent?
who played by MJF?
What about the Nazi Waldo Von Erich?
Oh, no. Even Fritz wouldn't get that far.
1996 Royal
Oh, we
Rumble.
won. But, yeah.
My next one, 1996 Royal Rumble. Jerry Jarrett promises his son that he's going to win it. Swerve, Jerry Lawler wins
Jerry
it.
Lawler.
Not Bill.
I always preferred Lawler.
My favourite Jerry. Oh, wait there, I am Jerry. Greatest Rumble.
Oh yeah, that's a
That's
one.
great.
Being rebooked by the Saudi Prince.
Rebooked by Shane, and Shane wins it.
Yeah.
The
Should have been
greatest Royal Rumble
rebooked
winner
by
ever.
the Saudi Prince.
He
and
is the
Pep
World Cup
Guardiola.
winner in
World
Saudi
Cup
Arabia.
win. Every time he's in Saudi Arabia, number 1.
That's what you should have done. Should have been rebooked by the Saudi Prince and Scott Carson won it.
Rebook Ronaldo wins it.
Ronaldo and Messi. Right, main event 2021 Women's Rumble, booked by Russo. Enough said. See women in the Attitude Era.
All the men win.
Yeah. Bro.
Main event, Triple H books the 2022 Royal Rumble. X-Pac wins.
I wouldn't be angry with that. No, Road Dogg.
You
If
wouldn't
it was Road Dogg.
if X-Pac won the
X-Pac Roman.
Yeah. Road Dogg, that's even
That's
worse.
random shit. 2018, don't remember what year. Jim Hurd.
What year?
Jim Hurd won
And
by...
the winner is Dustin Thomas. Oh, look here. Neither of you know who he is.
No.
He's the bloke who had no legs in AEW, so he can't be
Oh.
eliminated. Like his
Oh, I
hunchback.
remember him.
So,
Yeah, I remember.
those legs have
expecting
to hit the floor. He ain't got any, so he's won.
Then Jim Hurd would love that gimmick
That's
because he
exactly
loves the
it.
hunchbacks.
That's
I was expecting one of the
Fabulous.
Ding Dongs, either Ding or Dong.
Well, I was thinking the hunchback.
Dunk.
But
You can still have your feet at the floor. Even
no, but if you're on your back, your legs are up, and you just go roll
can't
in
land
the
on your
road.
feet.
Vince would have loved that. How did he get eliminated then?
They'd have a special rule that he can be eliminated.
But well, that would apparently
The very
what
first
Russo
match.
wanted to do with Zach Gill and have him throw one of his legs under the ropes, his fake leg, and then he can't go out because he's one leg hit the floor. He's only got one leg. So.
Jesus. There you have it, folks. If you can come up with any crazy, kooky booker from the past who can ruin one of the historical Royal Rumbles, let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCpod, or our Twitter, which is @BCCpod. And that rounds out the month of January. But we will be back in the month of February, and we are checking out non-WWE, or kind of WWE, depends the way you look at it. It's WWE ECW, as we're looking at every title change in that brand's history. Are you looking forward to...
Just the ECW title, or if like the tag titles changed then, Lenny?
They didn't.
Oh, Miz Morrison had him.
Oh yeah, I might add them in. It's a bit of a
Just on the show or on pay-per-view as well?
Yeah, on the pay-per-views. Every title change that happened in under the W. Yeah, it's 15 matches. So, something to look forward to. One of them we've seen, which is Bobby Lashley's chamber win. At least it's probably more stomaching than me saying to you we're going to look at every ECW title change that happened before 2000.
But I don't want to see Shane Douglas again.
No, I can promise you won't
I'm
see
just
him.
fed up with trying to
We'll
like
see him
him.
eventually. But...
Oh no, we will. We saw him earlier in the month, don't we?
And we're checking out Against All Odds 2011, which features one hell of a main event, which features a ladder match between Jeff Hardy and Mr. Kennedy, which doesn't quite play out, or Mr. Anderson, I should say. Which doesn't quite play out, but you're a TNA boy, so you will have fun.
Oh, I love it.
Galore!
I love TNA.
And we are also...
TNA, Mr. NWA.
Yeah. I don't know what I am.
By our powers combined, Russo books us.
And our Wrestle Cup in February, we were deciding who is the worst ever ECW wrestler, which might feature...
Well, sounds good. Choose them all.
It might feature a rugby league shirt.
No.
Did he wrestle?
And it might feature a man stabbing someone.
Yeah.
But there you go, folks. It's very... There's a wide range of people that you can choose from to be the worst ECW wrestler of all time. So do join us back here in the month of February. But that leads me to say, here comes the money. It's Jack Chance.
Goodbye.
And it's Vince's forgotten son. It's Sam Chance.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.